And we are live. I'm Anthony Johnson, founder of 21 Studios and the 21 Convention, hosting today's Redman Group on 21 Live and 21 Studios YouTube channel. We are also live on the Redman Group on Twitter and 21 Convention on Twitter as well, it should be. Today joining me, I have Donovan Sharp from Sharp Reality, Rollo Tomasi from The Rational Male, and Texas Dom from TexasDom.com. Thanks for joining me, gents. How's it going?
Going good. Real good.
Another Saturday for episode 23, I believe this is.
Yeah, we're a little short-staffed today. We got Rich is in Mexico right now. I think Ryan is at some wedding or something, and I think Carl from Black Label Logic is doing something else too. I can't.
Wherever Ryan is, I hope he's
summertime, man. People got things to do.
Yeah, I hope he's trying to talk the groom out of getting married.
Yeah.
Last time I went to a wedding, actually, I gave The Rational Male Book 1 with a 50 in it, in a note.
I saw that. You sent me a picture of that.
Oh, don't you believe in love, Anthony?
And I fucked the bridesmaid's best friend.
Yes. There we go.
That was nice.
Always easy targets, aren't they?
It was a long romance. It was a 10-year romance. So.
Wow.
Nice.
Red Pill closed the deal. Nice. I also wanted to announce, guys, that we have 37 tickets left to the 21 Convention out of 175 this year.
Here we go.
We are absolutely killing it. We keep selling them all the time. People just don't stop, and that's fucking awesome. If you want them, you want to meet speakers like myself, Rollo, Donovan, you'll meet Texas Dom there, all kinds of guys. Go to the21convention.org, that's .org, or you can visit speakers' websites, including Donovan and Rollo, and you get tickets that way too. Tickets will sell out probably in the next 4 to 5 weeks, something like that. So get them now.
Good.
It's going amazingly well too, and I think you should probably also say that it's at a different venue this year. It's a much larger venue too, and still in Orlando, but just in a different place than it was last time. I know how important that is because a lot of people want to know who was. They have to put a lot of planning into it. I mean, you gotta basically block out time for your vacations and everything. And we know that. I think pretty much everybody on staff and everybody who is speaking, everyone I know really wants to put out their best and put their best work out there. So, I mean, we understand the sacrifice that people make to do this. And I'm like totally stoked that we have so many people this year.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's never been this big, so that's awesome. And I agree with you too, Rollo. It's a serious investment. It takes minimum 4 or 5 days out of your life and the money to come, buy a ticket, buy a flight usually.
Right.
We have some guys from Florida that drive in, but mostly it's people flying in from Canada, America, Australia. We even have a guy from New Zealand that bought through, I think through Rollo or through Hunter. I'm not sure. So
I'm always, it's funny. It's like last year, and this was just kind of a joke, but now I have to actually do this. Like when I'm flying from like Reno to Vegas or Reno to Phoenix and then Phoenix out to Orlando, I'm always trying to post some pictures on Twitter and say, okay, I'm here now. I'm looking around to see if anybody else is like on my flight to go out to, and I actually ran into 2 guys from Vegas to Orlando. That was great.
Yeah, the flight from Reno to Vegas and back, man. Quickest flight you'll ever take, dude. It's like you take off and then 20 minutes later, all right, we're going to start our descent.
Yeah, Rollo too mentioned the venue. The venue this year is twice the size, and it's a bit nicer, and it's quite a bit more awesome. We actually have a free happy hour every night. Everybody gets to go to the event.
Oh, right on.
Oh, there we go. Oh, listen, newsflash, 37 tickets just sold out.
Yeah. So what are we up to right now as far as ticket sales? Are we like in 100 and something, or we're above 100?
Yeah, we're well over 100.
We're well over 100 now. Okay.
We're over 140 at this point.
Oh gosh.
And no trolls, we're not going to tell you where Actually, you know what? We'll go ahead and tell everybody. It's at Disney World. Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. The red pill Mickey Mouse. I tell the attendees. I finally the day I told the attendees where the event's at, the actual venue. And that was like the number 1 request. Obviously, people have been bugging for weeks on that. But then I told them, like, absolutely keep it secret from anyone who's not a speaker or an attendee because of security and privacy. Yeah, because people are fucking crazy. Like, I'm bringing a bulletproof vest this year. Is that necessary? Probably not. But I'd rather fucking have it because people are crazy.
Yeah.
Rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
Exactly. And we'll have security and stuff again this year and all that. So it's never been a problem, but it's always like, You know, when I met Roosh, actually, he was very surprised I was able to hold these events again and again and again and again without problems.
Oh, dude, yeah, Roosh always runs into the fucking crazies, man.
Well, Roosh brings that on himself too. So I mean, the thing is, it's like I honestly, a lot of the stuff that I see Roosh do, I think it's done with the intent of increasing his notoriety or increasing some sort of publicity.
There's a method to his madness.
And then, well, the thing I take issue with is like you're endangering. You know, if you're going to endanger your own life, okay, but if you're going to endanger the lives of other people just because you're getting together, I mean, in this day and age, if you just wear a MAGA hat, you're going to get your ass kicked. So if they find out you're red pill somewhere, they're going to go and beat your ass in a Starbucks because you decided to get there, you know, with a couple of guys to talk about red pill topics.
Check this out, man. I wish somebody would accost me at our fucking venue. Like, I'm putting it out there right now, man. Dude. I swear to God, man. Like I like these motherfuckers out here. All they do is talk shit. And they put out these death threats. Never take. And listen, if somebody puts a hole in me while I'm on stage, then that'll be the first and the last time, right?
I don't think it's gonna happen.
I don't think it's gonna happen because these
probably half the guys there are gonna be fat, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
I encourage all the attendees to carry a firearm if they can lawfully, and most of them can. Yeah. So yeah, totally.
Yeah.
We're never gonna get through Ivan anyway. I mean, come on, we have Ivan in the front row, so.
Somebody pulled my card in the chat. He says Donovan hasn't kicked anybody's ass in ages. He has the itch. Listen, I have not been in a physical altercation in like 2 years and like 450 something. Yeah, it's almost like a surprise. Like I have to go over this with my anger management therapist, man. But dude, I wish somebody would just keep my face and talk shit on stage with the cameras rolling.
Well, you know, I mean, I'm always
totally kidding, guys.
Well, it's Donovan's like, I wish a nigga would come and hit me.
You know what I'm saying? I'm serious, man. But these people, like these people, normally liberals, you know, people who oppose the red pill, et cetera, they and we see it all the time with these feminists. And we're gonna threaten this and threaten that. Nothing has ever happened, ever. So I'm not worried about it.
Well, you still have the Antifa people though, like Jack Murphy was.
Yeah, that's what Jack Murphy's going to be there, so that's. I mean, we're gonna draw an element, and I would say that if there's going to be some sort of incident, it might be this one. But
yeah,
like last year wasn't too tough. I mean, we had somebody pull the fire alarm last year. That was it. I mean, that was the extent of the thing. Yeah, somebody pulled the fire alarm.
Yep. And now the venue's hidden. Nobody knows.
Made for a good photo op, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, we can talk about the craziness and whatnot.
Yeah.
Let's
all right, so what are we doing today? Let's do the round table here.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, I already did my thing. We're just selling tickets like crazy. That's keeping me super busy. Donovan, what do you got going on? No, you said you're starting with
O'Shea Duke Jackson. Yeah, we're gonna reprise the Brother Pill podcast, and it's basically, it is literally red pill for black men, but we get up to all kinds of fuckery, man. We get trolls calling us all the time. We have different, and it's funny, man. We have people because O'Shea is based in Poland, and so he gets people from Nigeria calling in. We get people who sort of kind of have characters. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time. You know, people, you know, we roast each other, this and that and the other, and it's going to be great. Things are going great on donovansharp.com. I'm going to be having a limitable man on my show here within the next week or so. Also going to be reaching out to a few other people, and I am currently in the works is the Donovan Sharp mobile app. That's going to be available for iPhone, or it's iOS, Android. I don't know why they included BlackBerry for free. I mean, I'm, you know,
nice.
For, you know, obvious reasons, but yeah, it's going to be great. You're going to be able to do all kinds of cool features. You can watch my show on the mobile app. So yeah, I'm trying to go legit, trying to get my name out there. So that's what I've been up to.
Hey, drop me a line to O'Shea sometime. I'm very seriously considering the convention in Poland next year. So I'll have to talk to
very good. Yes, that's exactly right. Okay, yeah, because that's where he's at. I certainly will, man. Certainly will.
Well, speaking of all things Polish right now, I've got a Polish translation of the first book that's coming out, and we actually have plans to do the other two as well. Hopefully they will be out in about mid-August for that translation. I'm working with some guys who are specifically Polish translators, and they really want to see it take off, you know, the red pill community take off in Poland. And I think probably that's the one country we would do really, really well in.
Yeah.
I also, as a lot of people, if you've been following my Twitter feed, I have had a little bit of an incident with Amazon. Nothing really serious or nothing really big, but oddly enough, I had the Kindle version of my second book pulled from Kindle. The physical one was fine, everything was fine, but they were. I got some notice about how there was some like grammatical errors or some syntax errors or some formatting errors in the book, and that's the way. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, usually, I mean, the book had been for sale since March of 2015, and now is the time that they're, suddenly,
the
taking interest in it.
Yeah, those fuckers.
Well,
and like let's not dance around.
Well, I mean, yeah, let's not dance around it. I mean, somebody reports you to give you shit, and so somebody was decided that they wanted to give me shit. So basically, it took me about a week to sort the whole thing out. I took care of it myself. I think a lot of people don't know that the Kindle versions of my books, I usually farm that out. Like when I'm writing, and all I'm doing is just covering content and doing what I want, and then later on I'll go and I'll format the physical books, like the print versions of the books, because I'm a designer by trade. So I go and do that, and then usually while I'm doing that, I farm out the formatting for the Kindle version so that I can launch both of them at the same time. And so I go through it, and I check it out, and if it looks good to me on my screen, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to look good on everybody's reader. So if you've got like the old Kindle style readers, I mean, there's a lot to be said about that. I'm trying to be a little bit more professional when it comes to my ebooks, because I realize that a lot of people don't even do print books anymore. They just do ebooks now, and I'm never going to do that, because I think it's very important to have print books, particularly for what I write. So anyways, it took me about a week to figure it out, and I got no play from Kindle Direct Publishing, which is KDP. And I had a little bit of back and forth. They assured me it was going to be ready by Sunday, or that they were going to go through the approval process. And I thought maybe something was getting hung up because of the content of the book, like maybe some SJW at Amazon in their proofreading decided they didn't want to see the red pill, or the rational male, in print or whatever. But that wasn't the case. It was just a file format error. And so we figured it out, and it's now back up. So just dealing with that was it was very frustrating, but I'm glad that we took the time to do it. And now, as a consequence, I actually have a better product.
Yeah. You threw it out there. They tried to piss you off. Now you got a better product.
Yeah, well, and the funny thing is that I see a spike in sales because of that. So all these people are trying to give me shit. Suddenly, well, thank you very much for actually kicking me my ass to give you a better product. So there you go, you got a better product now.
We're going to call that the Goldman approach now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The other thing, before I get started at all, I think I posted this also on my Twitter. I just got this. I'm looking at it right here. Yeah, I just got this beautiful hardwood stand, and it's by this new startup called Understands. And I paid for this. I'm not getting kickbacks, but when I see somebody doing a really good job, particularly if they're entrepreneurs and they're starting a startup, I like to catch people doing good things, and these guys do good work. They've got this really fantastic stand. You can find them at understands.com, just how it sounds, understands.com. And it's mostly stuff for like computer monitors. If you have an iMac, they have that kind of stuff there too. But the guy was his name is Andy Griffin, Andy Griffin, and he and I kind of started this little relationship, I guess, over the internet or the emailing, and he was very attentive, and they were really great customer service. And so I just wanted to give them props, because I like to like I said, catch people doing good instead of catch people doing bad all the time. So
I got it pulled up for the whole stream right now, I think.
And it's great. I spent a lot of time in the studio, and it's really nice to see some some quality stuff. It's not this Walmart particle board shit. It's like really good stuff.
Hey,
so I just wanted to make sure that I'm catching this guy doing some good shit. And I love this stuff. And if you are in the market for anything like that, I would definitely suggest them.
One of the things we're going to talk about today was success porn, but one of the things that comes to mind for me, and the opposite, is like good quality products, exactly what you're talking about.
Right. And good quality service too. I think service is really something that is a lost art today. So I did that, and then the last thing I had on my list here was the New York Times article about the low sperm counts for men. I think I should probably explain it. I'll explain a little bit of that later on in the show. But I essentially, probably about a month ago, I had this chick from the New York Times call me up, and as soon as I got, I'm working for the New York Times, but really I'm okay, and I'm like, all right. So, but she sounded like she was at least somewhat savvy to the manosphere, and she really just wanted to get my take on what I thought was going on in the manosphere with regard to low sperm counts. Because there's been all this study about how sperm counts amongst men today, since they've been doing these studies or these surveys, men's sperm count is like crazy low right now, and it's lower than it's ever been in like I think 30 years or 40 years. And I see this a lot. I see a lot of guys talking about like xenoestrogens. All the guys who are very into testosterone replacement therapy will make a mention of it. In fact, I tried to redirect her a little bit more towards the guys who are talking about testosterone replacement therapy. And I think she's going to actually write another story on that. But once she put the story out, it seems like the delivery of the story, which is a very serious topic, I think, she was telling me that was her editor and it was her art director and everyone who was doing this stuff. They made it look like guys were just crying over this, and they're making it look like men are these big, whiny babies about their sperm counts. But yet then you read the article and it's this very serious article. So I'm inclined to believe her about that, because she didn't have any, she does have to work for an editor, and the editors at the New York Times are in no way friends of the red pill or the manosphere for that matter. And so I really was kind of disappointed in it, because it was like even the title, she ended up changing the title. It went from being like this panic amongst men to being this embracing lower sperm count. And I just wanted to, if you haven't seen that, you can go check my Twitter feed. There's a link to it there. But
and you want to know how
I really thought it was, I was very disappointed in the delivery. I thought it was really sucked the way that they did.
Let's get more into the New York Times article. Before we do that, let's get Tex and
yeah.
he's got going on.
Yeah, no, it's like I've been working quite a bit. 107 degrees in Austin this week, so it's been a bitch. Between that and I build guitar amps on the side, it's kind of fun. And then, of course, this time of year we've got rental houses with the college students moving in and out, so it's money making season right now. But mostly Fraternity of Excellence is where I've been hanging out lately. I haven't written a blog post in a little while. I don't write them until I get inspired to write one. And but hanging out with the men over there at the fraternity, doing a lot of good things. And in fact, I think like 7 or 8 of us at the fraternity are going to be in Orlando for 21.
I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter's had a lot of men sign up this
force. Yeah, we're going to take the place by force.
There you go. Listen, you want to know how they know men have lower sperm counts than they've had in 30 some odd years? Is because a lot of dudes are out there jerking off, so it's easy to collect those samples.
Hey, let me say this too. Tex has been giving me great text advice for tying women up with ropes. That's been nice lately.
Hey man, Boy Scouts got to know their knots. Come on.
Tex has got my back late at night on a Friday. He's a good dude. So the New York Times article, yeah, I read that, and of course they villainized Rolo and Roosh right at the top immediately.
Well, I thought it was really funny that Roosh just basically told her to go pound salt, which I understand why he would do that, because he's not getting paid for it. And neither did I. And people are saying, I can see people in the chat saying, "Yeah, I don't take the bait, Rolo." Well, I wasn't actually taking
to him on Dr. Oz, man. Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Is like he's happy to go on Dr. Oz, where he knows he's going to be vilified, and he knows he's going to play the villain on that whole thing. He knows that he's going to be pilloried. I mean, that was like 3 years ago, so I can't really give him
that was back in 15 in the website.
But you know damn well that, I mean, because I think before that show, like about 6 or 8 months before that show, he'd written a blog post talking about how Dr. Oz was full of shit and how his wife ran the show for him. And it makes me wonder what the connection between Roosh and Dr. Oz was at that time. But I mean, that's neither here nor there. I mean, like I said, that's water in the bridge right now. But like, I thought it was really funny that he just basically told her to go to hell. But so I understand that. I've written, I wrote a post a long time ago called "It's Their Game," and I've always been of the opinion that if you're going to be an outrage broker, then that's the game that you have to play, and you have to understand what their intent is never to make you look good, obviously. Ever. And so I was trying to be as straightforward and as informational as I possibly could be, but even in the light of that, as straightforward as I could be, they still paint it as if guys are out there crying over their jizz,
Rolla Tomasi, evil red pill guru.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Listen, man, let them know. Is it really true that you're like this evil red pill guru? Yeah, absolutely. That's me.
Yeah.
The most evil.
Well, I think it was interesting because like I told her afterwards, like she hit me up and she's like, "Were you disappointed in the article?" And she actually hit me up in a private DM afterwards, and I was like, "Yeah, I was upset with it. I think it's crazy, and I think it's pretty telling that the fact that you went and retitled the article after I said something, it means that to me, like that's what you had thought about doing all along. And so you're just making the manosphere and you're making these guys look like they're this infantile bunch of guys who are just jerking off all the time and they're crying over their sperm count. And I mean, if you saw the video, like the lead-in video there where the guys are like crying and everything, it's like, that I think it was some chick who was the art director for the New York Times decided she was going to go put together something to take a dig at the guys in the manosphere. And it's like, then on top of that, I'm reading all this stuff on there from these biotech firms that are talking about freezing sperm for guys. And I think it's really interesting that when a woman wants to, freeze her eggs because she can't find Mr. Right, and they're finally starting to admit to the fact that it's not about careerism. It's that these women cannot find an appropriate husband, an appropriate father, by their standards.
Yeah, nobody wants to fuck up a dish.
Here's the other thing is like, if you go to like some of these top Fortune 500 companies, like I think Facebook is one of them, as a benefit package, part of the benefit package for these, higher management positions for women, they offer freezing your eggs is something that the company will pay for.
Are you serious?
Yes. And the thing is like they make that a big deal. Like that's a positive. That's a net positive. But if guys go and they want to freeze their sperm, it's these whiny babies and they can't, they're crying over their jizz. And it's like, that is I don't think I could find a better narrative shift between those two, because when a woman, I would have presumed this is how it works. If a woman goes to a sperm bank and she's looking for sperm to impregnate herself so she can be a single mother, don't they have to freeze that guy's sperm to make sure that they've got it on hand so she can be inseminated?
I don't know. They might have the.
That's a net positive. But if a guy wants to freeze his sperm, then that's And I don't like who's going to do that. I don't know any dude who is going to say, you know what, I really better freeze my sperm.
Well,
I've never met a guy like that.
No,
never.
Listen,
men and women are different.
Listen, kids, man, I'm getting rigged for sport fucking at this point. I'm done. I don't give a shit with my sperm.
Well, here's the thing: we'll never meet anybody who will freeze their sperm, but a lot of professional athletes are now freezing their sperm because a lot of these women out here are checking for these professional athletes trying to be a baby mama and get a lottery ticket. Like a lot of guys, a lot of professional athletes. You guys should go to the Players Tribune, founded and run by Derek Jeter. ESPN also has a segment called Athlete or Player X, where athletes go on the record, but they don't reveal their identity. And they talk about some real shit like trades being happen because two players are fucking the same bitch, or trades happening because one dude thought he was the baby daddy and it turned out to be somebody on the defensive end rather than like the offensive line, like real type shit. So, yeah, listen, these hoes ain't loyal, man, not even a pro athlete. So a lot of pro athletes are freezing their sperm. They can philander and fuck around. Then when they're ready to settle down, they can do what they got to do.
So wait a second, they get their sperm frozen and then they get snipped or what?
That seems like it would be a good idea. I mean, when you think about like the logistics of that, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah.
I think that was one of the other points that I made about the article is that if a guy is going to go and freeze his sperm, what's to say that guy's sperm could not be stolen or sold on a black market for like say, hey, I've got Hugh Jackman's sperm here. If you want to impregnate yourself with his kid, there you go.
Life you would not want.
Yeah, exactly.
Baby
well, I mean,
Wolverines
let's just say it's a celebrity or it's a sport, an athlete or something like that, right? I'm just like throwing this out there as a hypothetical situation. It's like, what if that guy's sperm gets out of their hands and gets into the hands of some woman? If she gives birth to that kid, is that guy now on the hook for, 18 years of child support?
Right.
I don't know. Maybe that's a little far-fetched. It probably is a little far-fetched.
No. Listen, it's not, because here's the thing, right? Because what the court system is going to ask, okay, well, you have the kid. The athlete is going to say, well, I never fucked her. Well, obviously you did, because she has your, she has your kid. How else did this happen? What, did she go to the sperm bank and steal your sperm? Ha 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 ha. And the athlete's like, yeah, that's actually what happened. Do you think they're going to believe that guy? Nope. They're going to transfer his.
There was a sperm bank. I forget which year it was. I think it might have been like 2005, but the NBA had put out this warning to all the players who are on like their travel schedules to say that if they were getting after it with like some of these chicks on the road, that if once they got off, they were supposed to take that condom and flush the condom,
right?
Because they had so many women who were just basically scooping the shit up and impregnating themselves in the hope that they were going to have Wilt Chamberlain's baby, or whoever's baby, right?
Well, Wilt Chamberlain wasn't using rubbers back then.
Yeah, back in the day, but that, I mean, it was so endemic that they had to issue a warning to the players for that.
Well, it's a good thing women are the most empathetic sex, and they would never do that, in real life.
No, would never. Yeah.
Of course, never.
Exactly. Yep. Well, anyways, that's the New York Times article. I just wanted to briefly touch on that. I might talk to her about testosterone replacement therapy, or I might point her in the right direction and see if she wants to, because she was really interested in TRT once I had said, low sperm count isn't as big a deal in the manosphere as TRT is right now. And so I think that'll probably be the next thing that she does. And so I'm going to point her in the direction of Jay Campbell and whoever else I can think of.
I'll tell you what, I know men in their 20s right now that are on TRT because their counts were so low. It counts for like 250, 300.
Oh my God.
25 years old.
Let me throw this out there, because maybe Donovan knows the answer to this question, because like Illimitable Man said that TRT has nothing to do with sperm count.
Yes,
that there's no connection between the two of them, and I think guys are really more interested in their testosterone count, their T count, than they are in low sperm, because you can't do anything about that. If there's microplastics, or if it's soy, or if it's and I tried to explain this to her. I said, you know what, soy, it's not like that many people think that soy is like making this happen, but it's easy as kind of like an insult to say, this guy's got low T because he's on soy. I said, that's just the meme. It's an internet meme, but they take that and run with it as if it's in all seriousness.
Well, let me go ahead and set the record straight here. When you're on testosterone replacement therapy, it does it doesn't heighten your sperm count. It certainly lowers it, because when you're injecting synthetic testosterone into your body is saying, okay, I'm at 854 nanograms per deciliter, or whatever the fuck I was last time. My nuts are telling me, okay, I don't have to produce sperm for Donovan anymore, because we've got plenty of testosterone in the system. A lot of professional athletes, what they'll do when they get caught with their hand in the cookie jar, I think it was, don't quote me on this, it might have been Yoenis Cespedes, or it was another Latin ball player. Nelson Cruz, that's who it was. He says, well, the reason why I tested so high for testosterone is because I was taking fertility drugs. Well, that still made him guilty, because what you take when you come off of a testosterone cycle, a heavy testosterone cycle for performance enhancing purposes, or whatever the case may be, you take something, you take a fertility drug called Clomid. Right, Clomid. That's exactly right. Yeah, and that gets your nuts working, so that increases your testosterone. I don't know if it increases the sperm count, but your balls definitely feel it. So yeah, listen, I could talk TRT forever, because I mean, I'm almost 5 years into it now. But
shit, man, I'll point her in your direction then too, because maybe you can, know what you're dealing with, but like say, hey, look, I'll talk to you if you keep this, positive.
Listen, I'm going to tell her what Roosh told her. Listen, sweetheart, listen, I'll tell you what. Write your little story, but if you want somebody to talk to me, he's got a P standing up. Goodbye.
TRT will fix a lot of blue pill shit.
Yes, it will. Yes,
I've been on it for about 6 or 7 years now, and I swear by it. It changed absolutely changed my life. 100%.
Wow.
Yep.
Man, I have never had my T counts checked, and I never really even thought to do that. I mean, I just turned 50 this year, so
dude,
maybe I should go check it out.
Man, he doesn't need that shit, dude.
I don't. Well, my people always ask me, "Are you on TRT?" And I go, "Yeah, every Tuesday and every Saturday when I'm in the squat rack." That's my TRT right there.
That's a good answer. I love it.
Let's move on to some of today's other topics.
All right,
so we're going to talk a little bit about success porn and the purple pill. And RSD's fantastic new product, Get Me a Girlfriend.
Yes, you too.
I can't wait.
Yes, let's sell the blue pill. Let's sell blue pill idealism to poor chumps who,
Let me pull this up for our viewers. I'm going to pull up the price.
Are they marketing that to married men? Get my girlfriend?
Yeah.
Now that would be red pill. If you're marketing getmeagirlfriend.com to married men, that would be red pill, because
I want to see this.
Their shit straight.
Yeah, so I have the for the viewers, I have it pulled up. You guys, I don't know if you could see it.
Oh fuck, it's highway.
Look
at these prices.
Minimum $297. You get the premium for $497, the platinum for $697, and the diamond for $1,100 basically. It's Get Me a Girlfriend. It's the blue pill turned into an informational product. You get all kinds of cheap bonuses that cost them nothing. It looks like some shitty marketer went over this for them and did everything by the book. And it'll probably sell a lot to guys who don't know any better. Yeah. Rolo, what's your take on Get Me a Girlfriend?
I was gonna say I'm always a little wary of this, particularly with Max these days, because Max has really kind of jumped the shark in my opinion. I think a lot of the stuff that he's doing right now is this kind of woo-woo magic, new agey kind of stuff, and it's really interesting to see this shift from RSD from putting out some, in their past, I'd say right up until about 2014, 2015, they really did a lot of good stuff when it came to learning game. And so I'm not going to badmouth them, about that kind of stuff. But then right around 2015, I noticed that Owen, Tyler, whatever, and Papa and the rest of these guys decided to make this shift over towards this power of positive thinking mantra. And so now it's more about, let's jump up and down and let's have a rah-rah pep rally. And it's really just to sort of amp you up. And even Owen has been quoting Tony Robbins recently. And I think that what they're doing is they're sort of seeing this Tony Robbins marketing plan, and they're trying to apply it to the consumer base or the audience of RSD, which is Real Social Dynamics for people who don't know that. Real Social Dynamics is a group of guys who have, I guess it's really more, was it Papa and Owen and I think another guy, are very, Owen was the guy who was he went by Tyler Durden in The Game. And so he kind of has that as his claim to fame. And so I don't like the guy. I like Owen well enough. I think I've talked with him before. We've had email discussions and stuff. But I really see these guys sort of making a bend towards this, what we call success porn. I can't steal that. I forget who it was that gave us that
no,
term.
Go ahead, plagiarize, man. We're in a safe space.
Yeah, I'm going to plagiarize it here. It's success porn is what it is. And I think that a lot, and not just, I don't want to pick, exclusively on RSD here, but I see a lot of guys doing this right now, particularly in the purple pill set. I think definitely, certainly Tony Robbins would be one of those guys.
A few months ago, RSD we were into it on Twitter with Love Systems and Chris Shepard.
Yeah, Chris Shepard would be another guy, but they've kind of angled away from the red pill to this. Here's my formula for success. And here's how you can be a successful guy. And here's the 12 steps to do that. I would throw Jordan Peterson in there as well.
Their steps are, I'm going to literally read this off the screen. Step 1, how to not end up with a shitty girlfriend. Step 2, stop getting disrespected and get a model girlfriend. Step 3, attract a 10 and make her stay with you forever. And step 4, girlfriend game. Game her, get her, keep her.
What was step 1?
Step 1 was how to not end up with a shitty girlfriend. Probably don't buy their product would be.
I think what I find really interesting about these guys is, like, if you look at, again, I hate to hit on them too much, but like, are any of these guys in a successful relationship? Are any of these guys have any of these guys been married for 20 some odd years? I mean, nope. I'm the first one. I don't like to use my marriage as sort of a benchmark for what people's success could be, okay? Because I'm not you, you're not me, my wife's not any girl that you're going to ever see, okay? The individual is the individual is the individual. And so when people say, I've got this formula that's going to work for everybody, anytime I see that, I think bullshit. I mean, that sets off my bullshit meter right there. The other thing is, like, it's funny because I have been called to the carpet so many times for writing what I do and writing the books that I have. And they're saying, well, you're married. How can you talk about that? Or how can you be about that? But yet these guys, I mean, even, I hate to hit on Roosh too, but like Roosh is like very much interested in having a long-term relationship. I mean, according to what I have seen him on his last, his podcast, his most recent live cast, it seems like that is something he really wants. But I'm going to catch shit for having a 22-year marriage, and I explain my success in marriage is because I stick to these red pill principles, because I am red pill aware, because it's my reflexive response to think of things that shit tests and all the other stuff that comes up in a relationship. And so when I hear these guys coming out with, oh, I'm going to sell you this perfect blue pill relationship, I think bullshit, because that's not going to work for everybody. That's not going to work for a guy in, Zimbabwe. That's not going to work for a guy in the UK. That's not going to work for a guy in Estonia. It's not going to work for everybody all over the place. Okay. And I really think that these guys are playing on this insecurity. And we talk a lot about these lost boy generation. It's new generation of guys who are looking for like a guy like Jordan Peterson. They're looking for a dad. They're looking for somebody to give them some kind of direction. They're looking for somebody to give them that, think positive and everything will go good for you kind of message. And so it's this, power positive thinking, Zig Ziglar, Tony Robbins, RSD. Yeah. I'm sure there's a lot of other examples that I'm missing right now, but it has filtered its way into the red pill and it filtered its way into the manosphere right now. And I think that if there's a message I want to give to guys in this particular podcast, is that be aware and watch out for this, because this is what these guys are going to try to sell you. And it's always going to, and that's one of the reasons why RSD constantly says, read the Rational Male and then forget about it. Or read the Rational Male and just understand it's truthful anger. And why do they say that? Because it's truth that contradicts their marketing plan. It contradicts that power of positive thinking, because sometimes it can be, sometimes that it contradicts that.
Well, they're trying to profit off of removing your anger. Who burnt you, Rollo? And they'll take all the information and then profit off of.
You know what? I love it when people. This is interesting. I love when guys and girls are like, "Who hurt you?" Actually, quite a few women hurt me. Right? You put your hand on the fucking stove and it gets burned. You're not going to put your hand on the fucking stove again. And I think it's interesting. People always disingenuously point out your failures as to why what you're talking about now is wrong. So let me get this straight. You're going to take the advice of someone who has never failed at anything in their lives, least of all relationships. The guys who know what they're talking about are guys who have been in the trenches, the guys who have the battle scars. How do we know women are fucked up? How do we know how to handle women? Because we've been fucked over by women. So it's almost as though they're trying to use what made us who we are. They're trying to shame us. Well, if you didn't have the game in the first place, then you're pathetic. No, you got to listen. Nobody goes to the gym and squats 350 pounds the first day. No, it takes a few times failing. It takes, crawling before you walk, before you get to 350 pounds. That's how it works. Here's another thing. A lot of people like to say, well, the red pill is angry and this and that and the other. Well, you want to know something? A lot of it is. A lot of guys are stuck in the anger phase. The anger phase is always lurking in the back of my mind. And I think it's important for guys to at least keep a little bit of that in the back of their minds, because that's one of the many things that helps me keep my red pill edge. But here's the thing. Just because it's angry doesn't mean it's wrong. If you're on the stand and you are testifying against someone who is up for capital murder, and they say, well, Donovan, is it true that this guy fucked your wife? Is that why you're testifying? Well, yeah, well, wouldn't you say that you're here for revenge? Well, I don't know, maybe. Well, you have an axe to grind. Just because I have an axe to grind doesn't mean I'm lying. Doesn't mean I'm not telling the truth. I almost called you Roosh, Rollo. Rollo said something about a lot of guys, asking you guys, or you said you think that Roosh wants a long-term relationship. Don't we all? Listen, at the end of the day, guys, the reason why the red pill exists is because the dating market it's a cesspool of fucking sewage. And I say this all the time. I don't want to be Donovan Sharp. I hate the fact that I've had to become this asshole totalitarian dictator. And you can ask my girlfriend, this is exactly who I am. But listen, you gotta be this way. Otherwise, you get bent over and fucked in the ass. Listen, the red pill shouldn't have had to exist. But we're men. We handle things differently than women. We don't sit around and bitch and complain and expect the world to change for us. No, we reach down, we grab our fucking Y chromosome, and we do what God created us to do, and we find a fucking solution. Enter the red pill. That's why the red pill exists, because feminism exists. Now, we all want a long-term relationship because, again, and a lot of guys ask me, they say, Donovan, we see pictures of you with girls, and like we heard about your 8 years in Vegas. Like, why did you give it all up? Because being in a long-term relationship of consequence with a woman that you kind of trust, that you've kind of trained well, it's a better life than going out and looking for strange every night. Listen, don't get me wrong, man. Sticking your dick in a girl for the first time, there's not a rush out here like it. And if it is or isn't influenced by cocaine, okay, that might make it a little bit better or worse depending upon who you are. But nothing can replace the rush of fucking new girls. There's no doubt about it. But when it comes down to it, man, a lot of guys say, "Oh, Donovan, you fucked this girl in that." Yeah, but I worked too hard for it. Like, listen, I can say all I want about Turd Fling and Monkey. One thing that I kind of agree with him on is the juice isn't worth the squeeze. At some point in my player life, the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze. I was spending too much time, too much money trying to fuck girls once, maybe twice if I was lucky, and then move on to the next girl. When you have one woman, when you don't have to worry about, okay, and I'm not a guy who jerks off, right? So I gotta get laid. It's just a better life. This environment does not allow for that. As far as these guys at RSD are concerned, they teach you how to get the girl, but they don't teach you how to really keep the girl. And for those of you who are unwilling to spend, what was it, $497? Listen, $5 a month, patreon.com/Donovan Sharp. I'll teach you how to get the girl. I'll teach you how to keep the girl, and I'll teach you how to keep the girl in line. And here's another thing. I think Rollo said something to the effect, well, you're not talking to guys who know what they're doing. Rollo's been in a marriage for 20 some odd years. You guys look at my social media pages. My girl is in line. She does what the fuck I say, how I say it, right?
I like your stamp move, Donovan. I need to get one of those, the stamp on the butt.
That's you like that?
Oh, hell yeah. That's solid stuff.
I knew that was going to get a lot of pub, but I'm out here showing these guys, like, listen, guys pay their hard-earned money to listen to me flap my gums every night. So it stands to reason that I should at least show them, hey, I'm out here walking the walk. I'm not just talking about staying in good shape. I am in good shape. That's what this comes down to. I'm not going to tell you, well, you got to go to the gym and keep in shape. Well, how many times do you go to the gym, Donovan? Once a week, maybe. No, you got to be the genuine article. So I want people to see that I'm living proof, but I'm going to end it with this. The reason why RSD has changed course on this is because selling the blue pill mindset, purple pill mindset is far more profitable than selling the red pill mindset. Those guys are always going to outnumber us by 10 to 1. It is far easier to attract people with what's easy than to attract people with what's hard.
Well, I mean, who are they marketing to? They're marketing to the cheat code generation.
There you go. Boom.
They all grew up cheat codes on their Nintendos and all this kind of crap. And they want it the easy way. They want the magic pill. They want to be able to, get that life hack. There's no fucking life hack.
Right.
Back in the day, shit, you had to go to a bar, you had to talk to a girl, you had to get turned down. You had to fucking figure out why you got turned down. All that shit's on the internet now. There's all this pickup artist stuff. I mean, that shit works. If you read it, go read it. I mean, it's why the hell pay $500 for someone that's,
right.
And then last follow what Rollo was saying on the long-term marriage. I tell you what, red pill awareness can keep you married for a long time. I know a lot of guys say, I got red pill and we got divorced and all that. Well, you had a shit marriage to begin with. You probably weren't working at it. But at the end of the day, I mean, what I know now helps me stay in frame, helps me, just all the sidebar stuff on the red pill, all the reading, all that kind of stuff. Helps me be a better man in terms of managing my household.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to say,
go ahead. I like the way you put it, Tex, that what the marketing is a magic pill. It's like kind of like what Rollo said, like the blue pill, but they're turning that into a magic pill. Like, here it is in a tight little pill. You can just buy it for $300.
Well, that's the thing is like, and I've said this before when we're talking about the purple pill hacks all the time. Is like, and people think that I use purple pill as some sort of derogatory, statement. I'm calling it like I see it. Okay, if you want to turn it into a negative, go ahead. You think it's an invective, okay, fine. But when I say purple pill, what I mean is you're taking guys who have red pill awareness and who had to go through all that trauma to come to the red pill and to unplug from the matrix to begin with, and to go through all of this, a lot of, like I said, traumatic, pain and hurt, and maybe they have to go through that anger phase. But then you got a guy that comes along and says, oh, you didn't need to do all that. You can really have all of those blue pill ideals, and you can have the perfect girlfriend, and you can do all this great stuff that they, basically selling you this Oprah Winfrey, Dr. Phil formula to, have a open communication and all this great, or you can have date night and you can keep it fresh and all this other shit. You can do all of that and still be red pill, right? And so rather than crossing the abyss into realizing that the blue pill has basically conditioned you to think in a certain ways, then when you finally get past that, they want to drag you back in. These purple pills are like the crabs in the barrel. They want to drag you back to that blue pill idealism that really fucked you up in the beginning. You wouldn't have had to gone through all this if you had not been conditioned for that in the first place. And so what they're doing is they're dragging these guys back because they can turn a buck on that. Because guys don't want to put in the hard work. They don't want to have to.
That's it.
They don't want to have to cross that abyss. They want to have that. They want to have the knowledge of the red pill, and they want to be red pill aware, and they want to be able to say that they're red pill. But then they also want to go, oh, okay, well, I still want to have my one-itis soulmate girlfriend. And I've seen guys like fucking Pat Stedman who will go and say, oh, yeah, you can have your one-itis girlfriend as long as you guys, align with each other in your, Myers-Briggs test.
The Mark
like
Manson.
And Mark Manson is another good example of that. Todd Valentine, also formerly of RSD, good example of that. You can have, and here we have RSD selling you your dream girl, selling you on this idea that you can, you can still have to have some red pill knowledge. I'm not going to say that they don't show you that, or they don't tell you about red pill awareness. But what they're saying is that with that red pill awareness, you can have all those blue pill ideals. And what I've always said is that you will never achieve those blue pill ideals with red pill in red pill context. You have to make those goals red pill.
One thing I gotta inform you guys of, I don't know if you know this, but I've seen Max on YouTube, RSD Max, who's like one of the makers of this product. He has openly mocked the red pill. No, I don't know if he actually, I don't even know if he understands what the red pill is. It was kind of like one of those, like, he's criticizing it, but doesn't even fucking understand it, kind of like Todd did a few months back. So he's actually done that, but then he'll just deliver this product like it's this great thing.
Well, yeah, because that's one of the reasons I like calling it success porn, because guys really want that. They want, and I shouldn't just pick on just RSD here. I mean, that's one really good glaring example. But if you get a guy like Tony Robbins, you can be successful. Just think positive thoughts, and you'll be a success. You can be an entrepreneur. And if you go and you look at these websites of guys who are selling like their ebook that, here's the 12 steps to success kind of thing. And you look at them, they all look like that.
Girlfriend games, what they have.
Yeah. They all look like that same template site that you just showed me a second ago. It's like they all go to these seminars, how to get rich online. And then they go, okay, just become a life coach.
Yeah,
you just become a life coach. You just become, and so what they're doing is it's just funny because there's a market for selling to guys who want to be these purple pill guys. It's this market that says, here's the web template. Come to my seminar for a day. I'm going to teach you a little bit about SEO. I'm going to teach you, and you can call yourself an entrepreneur, and then you're going to buy my package, and then you can take that package, and then you can go and sell all this, power of positivity.
Now, this isn't like RSD Max and Tyler, but I've met some of these marketing guys behind the scenes that give them all these templates and shit. These guys feel like meeting them. They feel like some of the worst dudes you will ever meet in your life with women. Like just 5 seconds of talking to him, like this dude does not get laid. He has probably never been laid, or very few times. Like the anger and the venom with some of these marketing dudes is visceral. You can feel it and you can see it. And that's the kind of cesspool that they surround themselves with, RSD and all these guys. That's why all their shit looks all the same.
And that's why it's always, they don't sell any it's basically substanceless. And a lot of the stuff that I'm seeing, you can get for free. You can get it for free. That's one of the reasons they don't like me so much, is because you can spend $9.99 for the Rational Male and learn more than the $1,000 some odd you can for their shit. And why? And so what do they have to do? They have to say, oh, and he's angry. It's true, but you don't need that negative anger in your life. And you know what? Anger is just a phase. It's a part of unplugging. Yes, you're going to be angry. But you know what? You're not angry at women. You're angry at yourself for having wasted so much time because you didn't realize all this shit. That's why I wrote the second book, was because people kept saying, God, if I would have just known this stuff when I was like 20 years old, I could have saved myself all this heartache, all this money. I had 2 kids out of wedlock, blah, blah, blah. If they would have just known the stuff beforehand. That's why I wrote that. So now you've got 2 books that they have to contend with, because if they can't do that, they can't sell this mindset. It's like this positive mindset.
Here we fucking go.
It's absolutely substanceless.
Listen, congratulations, everybody. We've got our first incel in the group. Michael fucking Townsley, who would have us believe that he's a MGTOW by choice. He is in here. Listen, insulting my prowess, that's some female shaming language. Okay, check this out, right? This guy, Michael Townsley, said Turd Flinging Monkey owned us. The only thing Turd Flinging Monkey owns is a sex doll he has to clean every night, right? When you fuck a sex doll, you lose, okay? Like, you're not going to sit here and say, TFM owned Rollo Tomasi. No, Rollo's been married to a woman for 20 plus years, and he fucks a sex doll. He loses. So, Michael Townsley, what I'm going to do, since you seem to be so tough, is I'm going to block you. And if you have anything to say, you can call the number here in about 10 minutes, 914-205-5356. Let's see how tough you are voice to voice.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's start the phone calls here.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and hit the go button. Let me just block this fucker here really quick.
Yeah, we're also at the top of the hour, so if you want to give the links out again, Anthony.
Yeah. Can you put the number in the chat for us, Donovan, or give it to me on the private chat?
I'll go ahead and put it in now.
So if you want to give the links out again, Anthony.
Yep. Excellent. All right, excellent. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mute myself, open up the phone lines. You guys continue. And Michael, listen, if you're listening, give me a call. Because anybody can be a fucking e-thug, right? Anybody can be all witty and all that in the chats. Give me a call.
I'm going to actually say the number out loud. So if you guys are watching live on Twitter or anywhere else, you can call in at 914-205-5356. If you're outside of America, put a +1 in front of that and it should work fine. That's 914-205-5356. You will talk to Donovan Sharp directly.
I was going to say, I think Miss Playboy Bunny or whatever that chick is on Twitter.
Oh yeah, she's fun.
I'm looking at her. I think she's listening in. I think
she's still got a crush on me. Bang,
you know her. I've retweeted her.
Yeah, she's cool.
Oh, okay.
She doesn't like dick pics, though. I don't know what's wrong with her.
If we get calls, we get
let me hop on my DMs here real quick. Hang on, guys.
Mm-hmm. I was just gonna say real quick while you're doing that is I worry about this. I hate to sound like a concern troll for this kind of stuff, but I wrote a post called "Dream Girls and Children with Dynamite," and I wrote that way back in the day because of exactly my foreseeing this situation in the future. It's just like what Tex was saying, that it's this cheat code mentality. It's this I want the cheat code so I can play in God mode kind of thing, and they don't want to have to earn the mastery that it takes to understand how to have a relationship with a woman, how to be red pill aware, because there's just so much that you have to learn. It's like taking 2 classes at karate, and then the guy wraps a black belt around your waist and says, okay, go out there and spar with that, 12th degree black belt. You're ready to go.
Rollo, let's get some callers on the air. We got 2 on the line with Donovan.
Yeah, we got someone calling from outside the United States. All right, give me 1 second here. Okay, whoever you are, area code 4479, whatever, you are on with Donovan and the Red Man Group. Go ahead.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Hi, it's Sterling here from London, UK. Just want to say thanks to all you guys for giving up your free time to help other men. It's much appreciated. And I've got a couple of questions for the group.
Let's do it.
Shoot.
Yeah, so I've been quite successful sort of with the Red Pill now, running seeking arrangement game, very similar to Anthony.
Yeah.
I've well and truly followed the Red Pill. But now I know the true nature of women. It's kind of depressing. And how do you guys get past that, knowing sort of what you know now?
Wow, that is.
I just bang more women. and then tie them up. That's one option. Hit up text for information.
Listen, I've got a short answer for that. And listen, he brings up a very good point, right? Because part of the anger phase, after the anger phase, you kind of you when you take the red pill, you almost mourn what you thought women were, because when we were all younger, we thought that girls were made of sugar, spice, everything nice. I used to hold girls in high reverence. I thought that they were these mysterious, mystical, beautiful creatures. And when you take the red pill, you kind of see them without the makeup, so to speak, and you're kind of depressed. You're like, man, like I thought girls were a little more than this. I thought they were better than this. I don't think there's any real way that you deal with it. I think to me, that's part of the masculine conundrum. That's part of the masculine burden. You have to understand that girls are just not all, they're not all that they're cracked up to be. We see all these memes that say, to understand a woman, here's a book this thick. Good luck. No. I've said it on the show and I'll say it again. Girls, they're as simple as a $2 hammer. All you have to know is how to understand them. And when you figure out what really makes them tick, you're like, man, they're really not as awe-inspiring as they once were. I know that's not the answer you're looking for, but again, as a man, there are just some things you're going to have to live with. And the fact that women really ain't shit unless they are with a man who has his shit together, that's just something you're going to have to live with.
I see that as part of crossing the abyss. And what I was just talking about a little while ago is guys, when they unplug from the matrix and they become more red pill aware, there's a point where you get angry, maybe you get despondent, and a lot of people get stuck there. That's where I see a lot of guys who become incels or become MGTOW, and they just decide to do something different. Okay, I've always said that guys who become red pill, if you're MGTOW, great, but I'll tell you what, even if you're just a red pill guy and you're red pill aware, you cannot help but live your life in a different fashion. If you want to call that going your own way, great, please do. But and that's where I think that there's a lot of similarities between what we talk about and what MGTOW talks about. But there is that point where you see women as something less magical. It takes away that one. You throw away one-itis. You throw away the soulmate myth. You throw away a lot of the stuff that you've been taught and conditioned for probably most of your life, and now you realize, oh man, this is really the truth. I counsel guys who are, a guy who's 70 years old and he's just now becoming red pill aware and understanding 70 years of the decisions that he based on his blue pill aware or his blue pill conditioning. And so, it can be very, very depressing, but that's a point where you have to sort of get through that. And then on the other side of that abyss, on the other side of the anger, there's so much more opportunity. Because now you have an understanding. Now you understand what the rules are, and you understand how to protect yourself from being exploited and put into that situation that would manipulate you or would help you. It helps you make yourself your own mental point of origin where you weren't before. So you have to understand, I think, that if you're going to look for some positivity on the other side of the red pill, it's that you have more opportunity now and you're going to be more successful because you have that red pill awareness. And as long as you accept that now your goals have to be within a red pill context and not in that blue pill context. And that's where I think that a lot of the success porn guys really want to drag people back in, because they were comfortable in that. They were comfortable in thinking that girls were these magical, unknowable creatures. And if we're just nice enough and we're just, we put a smile on our face all the time, that women are going to love us, in a way that we think that they can love us. And that's another thing. It's like when guys get to the other side of the red pill, they realize that women don't have the same concept of love that men do. That is a hard lesson to learn for a lot of guys, because they were so committed and ego was invested in the idea that they could have something, like they could have this, oh, she loves me and I love her as much, and we don't have to, we can let our hair down and just be who we want to be and just basically give up. But you can't do that. You cannot do that in a red pill paradigm. You have to stay on top of your shit. You have to own your game all the fucking time. It has to be who you become and who you internalize. And a lot of guys don't want to do that. They would rather go back to that comfy feeling of, well, women aren't really like that. And then so what they do, they deny the red pill, and then they come back to their blue pill their blue pill ideals.
They,
but the problem, but I was going to say that's the problem, is they can't get away from it because you've already been exposed to the red pill and you've already got that red pill lens. So you're going to see, even if you say no, I'm not going to, I'm not going to listen. I'm not seeing anything. And what happens is then you're living this sort of in this duplicity of where it's like you're trying to convince yourself that it's really all about the blue pill, but in your peripheral awareness, it's all about the red pill. And so that's why I think that guys get into this really dangerous space, thinking that they're, women they want to cling to that comfort. It's so comforting. The blue pill is very, very comforting to these guys.
And that's why it's more profitable.
Yeah.
It's also I would say in a conventional sense, not a scientific sense, it's almost like schizophrenic.
Yeah. So, but I'm going to feel bad if I don't answer this guy's question. So what do you do on that side? How do you stop seeing women as being these, horrible, I've always said this. I said the red pill is not so you will hate women. It's so that you will not hate women for something that they cannot be to you. Okay. So when you learn the real nature of women's psyche and the nature of women, and you understand the red pill and you understand intersexual dynamics, you're not going to hate women. You're going to understand them a little bit more, and you're going to understand that you need to look at them in a new paradigm. You need to look at them from a red pill perspective in a red pill context, and you will do far, far better. I think sometimes a lot of guys get depressed because all the stuff that I teach them, or all the stuff that the red pill makes them aware of, they don't want to accept that. But then when they start using it, or they start practicing game, they put the red pill theory into practice, and they realize that it actually does work, they get depressed because those girls, those magical, beautiful Disney princess girls, really aren't that way, and they're really more visceral, and they're really more. You understand the truth of the red pill. That's why I keep telling
you. When you're blue pill, every girl's a potential mate.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, now you're red pill. You're caller. Take this as an advantage now and embrace it, because now she opens her mouth, and in the first 5 minutes you can rule out 90% of them.
There you go.
You're not going to waste your time on some girl that is fucked up in the head. And your life is going to be so much smoother. This is a beautiful thing. Don't be depressed. Get through that shit, right? And start realizing what a gift you've been given yourself.
Listen, I want to make one correction here. Go ahead, Anthony.
Okay. Yeah, so to answer his question and comment on it from personal experience, try to bang less sugar babies. I know it's fun. It's like sport fucking, like these little, wannabe sugar babies, or they are sugar babies. And I would say try to find women who come from a healthier culture and who are raised there for most of their lives. My taste is like Colombian women, Brazilian women, and Polish women, if I can find them. Right, basically Eastern European. Those women are still women, so you still need the red pill 100%. But it's refreshing to talk to them when you can find them and hit it off, make out, bang them, pull that off. So find those women that are a lot healthier and they respond to masculinity better. It's a lot better than the toxic Western shit you find all the time. And it reminds you that women are still worthwhile, unlike the MGTOWs. Like, women are still worthwhile to interact with in some capacity.
Yes, they are.
Donovan?
Yeah, I had one quick correction before we go to the phone lines here. Rolo said that we don't teach men to hate women in the red pill. Well, we teach women to hate fuck women. We fully endorse that. Let's go back to the phone lines. Miguel in Texas, you are on live with Donovan and the Red Man Group. Go ahead.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely.
So I wanna ask you guys a question. And this came directly out of something that I noticed in the chat, and you guys mentioned it earlier in terms of a guy having wished that he had known this information at 20. I'm 25, and I can tell you right now that I've gotten to a point where I've gotten a good grasp on my job, gaming chicks, learning the red pill concepts, applying them. And, I think that at 20 years old, I don't how early is it possible to really get a full kind of like mastery of the red pill? Because I'm 25, and at 20, I don't think that you've had enough life experiences to, fully understand it all and to fully, master it and then apply it. For example, like Rich, I would look at Rich Cooper, and he's a guy that, I'd like to be in his position at some point. And I look at him and I see mastery, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, he's taking so many L's and so many setbacks to get there. So with that said,
Did he cut out?
Like at what point? And hello?
No, go ahead.
Yeah. And just reflecting on, and if you guys could maybe pitch in, kind of like at what age do you guys come of age and kind of get a strong, I guess, mastery of the red pill, and what that felt like, and how did that, and what changes you made is basically what I'm asking.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Miguel. This one is real simple for me. I've been in a lot of fights. The first few fights I got into didn't do so hot, right? Guys don't become great fighters unless you get your ass kicked a few times. It just happens that way. Being a good fighter has probably more to do with what not to do than what to do. It's really the same as the red pill. Listen, men were born with an inherent knowledge of at least we used to. We know we don't even have to take the red pill to know that women like men who are in good shape, who take care of themselves, who dress a certain way, who act a certain way. We don't need Rollo Tomasi to tell us that women like masculine men. What we need is Rollo and Donovan to tell us that, okay, if she's got tattoos, probably not going to make a good wife. If she said that she went 5 years and only had 2 boyfriends, okay, she's probably telling the truth, but she didn't tell you she was fucking 250 guys, right? A lot of girls will say, well, I've only had 2 boyfriends in 2 years. Okay, I might believe you, but that doesn't mean that you weren't sport fucking your way through your 20s like every other 20-year-old. When you get beat down enough, and a lot of guys say, man, if I knew then what I know now. Listen, I'll tell you right now, if I knew at 20 years old what I do now at 40 years old, my life would have ended up the same way. Because for me, I'm a hard-headed, stubborn son of a bitch. You can tell me whatever you want. Unless I see it and experience it for myself, it's not really going to help me. If I were to go to 18-year-old Donovan and say, listen, young Donovan, this is the way it's going to be. These are the websites. Well, I don't know. At 18, the internet was just coming of age at that point. But I could go back and tell my 18-year-old self what not to do. Guess what? My dumbass still would have done them. My dumbass still would have tried to rent that 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom house for Carla, right? I still would have married Darcy, who had just come off of crystal meth and had recently lost custody of her daughter, who doesn't believe. Who isn't the daughter of the guy who believes is his father. Paternity fraud. I still would have made all these mistakes. So at what point do you become like red pill? ETF 42 said it. And by the way, ETF 42 is the only man I've ever had one itis for. Welcome back. The prodigal son returns. But it all just kind of clicks, and sometimes it happens really quickly, sometimes it happens little by little. But when you're sitting in front of a woman and she starts rattling off at the mouth like every woman does on a first meetup, you start to pick up on these things, just like Tex said. I've got 2 kids. Oh, really? Yeah, their fathers are really good to me. Or yeah, I had green hair one time. I didn't really think it was too good of an idea. Or yeah, I used to go to law school. Or I'm interested in becoming a. Listen, you already know you're dealing with a slut. So at what point do you really become a red pill? It's when you really start. It's when you start to see what women are going to do before they even do it. That's subtitling. Right.
I usually get a question like this once in a while from like a guy who is like younger, and they'll say, what advice would you give to your 18-year-old self, right? Or your year-old self or whatever. And I hate those questions, because the problem is that you don't have the life experience enough to understand what the future you would say, because you're not that person. That's one of the reasons I always tell guys that personality is not static. It changes over time. And like who you are today is not going to be who you are 2 years from now. I mean, you're going to look like that guy, but your personality could change overnight depending on what the experience is.
Damn right.
As far as, what was the catalyst? I think a lot of guys their catalyst for unplugging is almost always a trauma. Yep. For me, I think I answered this really when we were doing the Dangerous Women podcast. Was me sort of making that decision between going in her bedroom door or leaving her dorm that one time. I think if you want to understand that story, just go back to that episode. But it was at that point where I had to make that separation, and you had to go through a really tough time, and that was the beginning of the end, and it was the beginning actually of the beginning. So as far as being more red pill, I don't, there's still shit that I don't know. Okay. I'm not going to be here and be
I don't believe it. I'm not
going to be here and gloss myself and say I got everything figured out, because I'm sure that there's something that's going to happen in, maybe something happens in psychology or science or, brain scans or whatever, that's going to change my mind about some stuff. So I'm always open to the fact that that's probably going to be, something that could possibly happen.
It's called the rational male.
Exactly. So that's why you stay objective as possible. I think that when I had my red pill moment, it was sort of coming out of that borderline personality disorder relationship, and then deciding at that point that I was going to be my own mental point of origin. And it took me 26 years, 27 years to get to that point where I had to decide that I was the most important person in my life. And I had to start thinking about myself before I thought about anybody else. And lo and behold, what happened when I started doing that? I started getting more chicks. I started having more success in life. We're always taught to be these good servants. We're always taught to think of others before you think of yourself, that kind of stuff. And I really think that, I'm not saying don't help others. I'm not saying, like I said, I always talk about enlightened self-interest. I can't help others until I can help myself, but it's important that you do help others once you have helped yourself. So what would I say to that? I would say, you just, at 25 years old, you're still not even halfway there, man. Just keep at it. I always tell guys that their sexual market peak is going to be right around 35, 36. So you got another 10 years to go. Guys don't even really become men these days until they hit about 30 anyways. But the good news is that once you get past that point, once you have done, I always tell guys, theory is important, but practice is also more important too. So you've got to get out there. You've got to practice what you learn so that you can understand for yourself, and it becomes something that's internalized. More importantly than anything else, I mean, a part of mastery is internalizing what you're learning in the red pill. So that, people always say, well, Rollo has to game his wife all the time. I'm like, no, I don't game my wife. It's part of who I am. Red pill awareness is my reflexive response now. It didn't happen overnight. I had to actually, remember things this rote memorization until it started to become part of who I was. And then I understood it a whole lot. I even understood the red pill a whole lot better once I started practicing it and seeing the responses. And that reinforced my understanding, which then leads to more game, which then reinforces the understanding, which leads to more game. So I would say that, mastery is, I think it was Robert Greene who was talking about it in Mastery, is like, you have to humble yourself. You have to say, look, I'm the eternal student and I know that I know nothing. And so you have to humble yourself to the point where you can say, I need to find a mentor. I need to read this book. I want to dedicate my life to learning this stuff, or maybe I don't. Maybe I just want to have enough to help me live a better life than I am right now.
Donovan?
Yeah, just to add real quick to what Rollo said, we as men, we have the ability to humble ourselves. If there are men out there who think that women in this day and age will just get it, and I see, it's funny, I see men, myself included, sometimes I'll go back and forth with women trying to explain red pill truth to them. Guys, listen, these bitches, listen, it's useless, man. Bitches aren't going to humble themselves. So you know who has to humble them? This guy, right? Dude, I'll humble a bitch fucking quick because no one else is going to humble her. Not her mother, not her father, not her friends, not her slutty friends who are married and cheating on their husbands. So as far as humbling yourself is concerned, understand that you're the only one that's going to do that. A woman will never humble herself unless you humble her, and you got to be that guy who's worth her humbling herself for. And she's not going to do it on her own. Oh, Donovan, you're a man that I should humble myself for. No. I had to humble Devin before I started grooming her to be my main chick. Believe that.
That's a good way to put it. Humble yourself.
Okay, we actually have a caller on the line here. Give me 1 second here. Okay, area code 915. You are on with the Red Man Group. What's your question?
Oh, hey, fellas. How's everybody doing? I was listening here to you guys' chat. Thank you for everything that you guys put out there. I had two things that I wanted to ask you guys about. One is that recently, the last couple of days, I saw on social media, an article came out about a guy that broke up with his girlfriend over video games.
Right.
I'll keep it short, but I wanted to, if you guys get a chance to look it up, basically, it kind of showed how quickly the media was quick to attack the guy without really kind of realizing why he did it. My second actual question that I wanted to ask you guys is, and this might particularly like to you, Donovan or Rollo, is as a red man, or red pill aware man, and you enter into an LTR, does such a thing count as being territorial? You know, are you still allowed to be jealous if, say, the woman you're supposed to be in the LTR with is still kind of getting hit on?
Yeah.
Even if you do train her, are you allowed to be territorial?
Yeah, let me we'll get to the article first. I'm going to mute you here to delete all your background. There we go. To answer his second question first, and a lot of my guys ask me the same thing. They say, Donovan, are you allowed to be territorial? Are you allowed to be jealous? Well, here's the thing, guys. Insecurity and jealousy is not the same as being territorial, and I'm going to explain to you why. Being insecure and jealous, okay, that is a reactive response. Being territorial is a proactive response. Quick example. You take your girl to a bar, right? You guys are drinking, having a good time. You get up, you go take a piss. You come back and Chad Thundercock is hitting on your girl. So you throw your arm around your girl. Who is this guy? Blah, 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 blah. This is my girl, blah, 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 blah. Mate guarding happens all the time. So the guy leaves. Who the fuck was that? I can't believe you entertained this conversation. That's being jealous and insecure. Being territorial is you don't take your girl to the bar in the first place. Listen, as a man here, and I don't want to be too long-winded on this. As a man, you got to understand your woman's a slut, okay? I'm going to insult everyone here, married, girlfriend or not. Dude, my girlfriend's a slut. Once an alcoholic, always an alcoholic. You will never, ever allow your alcoholic friend who's been 3 years sober to go to a mixer. So why in the hell would you take a woman who's an alcoholic for cocks? Why would you take her to a place where she's going to get cocks in her face? No, she really wants to drink. Take her to fucking Applebee's and get a table. You can have your vodka martinis there. You can have your Long Island iced teas there. Don't get mad if you take your girl to the club. Oh my God, my girl got hit on. That's part of the gig. If you're going to date hot girls are going to get hit on, right? And then a lot of guys say, well, being territorial, that's mate guarding, that's jealousy. No. If you don't want to get robbed, don't leave your fucking doors unlocked. That's how that works. It's on you as a man to protect your investment. If you're doing what you're supposed to do to protect your investment, your girl is going to do what she has to do to protect her investment in you. And the article he was talking about, he's a YouTube gamer. His name is Phase something or other. He dumped the girl he was with is hot, but he dumped her so that he could play Call of Duty more. And this just goes to show that hot girls are listen, man. And I talk about banging hot girls all the time, this and that and the other. But guys, have you noticed I haven't been in too many long-term relationships with hot girls because hot girls are a fucking headache. Just like the guy said, this guy's being vilified in the media. Oh my God, how could she? She's beautiful. No, she's a fucking headache. I'm looking at her right now. And she's screaming.
Let's see the link on this chick. I gotta see this.
Oh my God, dude. Hold on.
Give me the link in the chat.
Yeah, she looks good. Listen, she looks good, dude. She looks like a fucking headache. She's the kind of girl that you wake up in the morning, you're like, dude,
It's a headache. Oh yeah, totally.
You already know. Dude, any girl who allows a picture of herself to be put online with her hair covering one eye is a fucking headache. Get the fuck out of here with that.
She looks like a Bratz doll, like Roland.
The Bratz doll.
Let me just jump in. It's all about frame, right? I mean, we go out. I expect that there's going to be guys hitting on my girl. I also expect that he is going to behave in a certain way, shut them down politely, and come back and find me if we got separated. I don't have a problem with guys doing that. She's amazingly good looking. It's going to happen, but she also knows the rules. She also knows what happens if the rules get broken. And if she wants this marriage to work, if she wants to stay together forever, she knows this is the way it's got to be. And so it's my frame. I've set the frame. I don't get jealous. I expect it. It doesn't bother me.
A lot of girls say, well, I want a guy who has a six-pack, or I want a guy who's this. They want Mr. Perfect, but these girls are not willing to put in the work to keep these guys. And so they bitch and moan about guys' expectations are too high. No, you're incapable of meeting those expectations. Guess what? It's the same on the other side of the coin. As men, we want to date and fuck attractive women. Guess what, gentlemen? You're not going to be the only guy who thinks your girlfriend is hot. And
Black Bible Logic makes a good point that women's value is preserved, not built. And I think a lot of women today feel so entitled that if they don't automatically have that value, like when they're 22, 23 at the peak of their SMV, like Rolla points out, they just don't have any expectations for themselves. Why would they?
I think that thrown at them. Let me just jump in here real quick. What the caller's asking really is it okay to be possessive? Is it okay to be territorial? Is it okay? I joke about this quite a bit whenever I'm looking at pictures. People like throw me these pictures on Twitter, and they show like a couple, and the guy's like hanging on his girlfriend, and I mean, Anthony Bourdain was a great example of this. He's like, all of his pictures, he's just like completely like guarding her with his hands, and just like, you know, it seems like the girl's going, oh, help me, you know, let me get him off of me, kind of thing. Right. I think that most definitely is not red pill, because especially when you think of things in terms of, if you're an alpha guy and your woman sees you as that alpha guy, she is going to change her behavior for you. Okay. And it's like we were talking about GNOs. Like I've written actually probably 2 or 3 essays about girls' night out. And it's like, the guys want to take me to task on this, say, well, shouldn't you be mate guarding? And mate guarding is a part of our evolved natures. But when guys are used to not getting women all the time, when they're more beta, and women are more of an investment to them, that's when they get protective. That's when they encroach. That's when they want to be, you know, say, I don't want you to go on a girls' night out. But the real question here is, why does she want to go on a girls' night out to begin with? Why is she thinking that? Why would she want to do that? If you're an alpha dude and she says, I want to go out with the girls tonight, or you see all of her pictures on Instagram and she looks like she's available, there's a reason for that. It's because you are not somebody that inspires that want, or that desire, that natural, genuine desire that I always talk about, to say, well, I want to be on Instagram, and it's you know, feeds my ego, and it's all about social media and stuff like that. No, the medium is the message. What is the medium telling you right here? The medium is that she's putting out all these pictures on Instagram of, you know, one eye showing with her, you know, she's in her bikinis, whatever. That kind of stuff is advertisement. That is advertising her singleness or her availability to guys. Why was she doing that? Why is there no pictures of you on her Facebook? It's just her pictures of her. There's a reason. That is the medium. What is the message? The message is that she does not see you as somebody that she wants to change herself organically for. So when you say, is it allowed to be territorial? You're allowed to do whatever the hell you want to do. But I'm always going to say, demonstrate, do not explicate. And when it comes down to, like, we're talking about boundaries here, it's like, does a woman understand your boundaries without having to be told what those boundaries are? Okay. Does she go and say, I would never go on she tell her girlfriends, sorry, I can't go on the girls' night out because I would rather genuinely stay at home with this guy. Does she say that? Or does she go, oh yeah, let's see if I can talk him into it? Or does she just up and go? Right. So you're looking at a state of what is her genuine desire for you. And so when you're in a relationship where she has a genuine 100% interest level in you, and she's all about you, you're not going to go into those situations. It's not going to happen organically that you have to be territorial because she's territorial for you. She mate guards herself for you because you are that much worth it to her.
Real quick, before we get to the text question Anthony was talking about, and a lot of guys, what you have to understand, your girlfriend's friends, they will try to sabotage your relationship at every fucking corner. One of the reasons is because they want to fuck you. Girls can never be happy. Girls are never really happy for their other girlfriends. Oh, we're so happy for you. No, they don't. No, they're not. They want to fuck that guy. That's why no girl wants to be a bridesmaid. There was a movie called 27 Dresses. The bitch was hating on all of her 27 friends because she wasn't getting wifed up. Here's the thing. Your girlfriend's friends are going to try to indirectly shame you by proxy. Oh, he doesn't let you go for girls' night out. He's possessive, or he's he's possessive. And what's the other word?
Asshole.
Right. Listen, girls. Listen. This is a shit test. And if it comes directly from your girl, and I'm telling you guys, this is the God's honest truth. My hand to the man. Every single girl who has ever told me, because I get this a lot. Oh my God, you're so possessive. And what was the other one? I just fucking forgot it. You're possessive and controlling. You're possessive and controlling. And my response is, I'm sorry, you're just now figuring that out. Never apologize. Never apologize for that shit. You're goddamn right I am. As men, it is our job to protect women from themselves. Women cannot be trusted to their own devices. I don't give a fuck where they came from. The feminine hard drive always wins out in the end. I'm not saying keep your girl under lock and key, because here's the thing. A woman, you can't really mate guard. You can't be territorial over a woman who doesn't want to mate guard herself for you. So she has to want to do it. And if she wants to do it when you lay down the edict, she's going to do it. But women use this controlling and possessive shaming tactic to give themselves the space to cheat. I don't want you texting with your ex-boyfriend. Oh my God, you're so controlling and possessive. What the fuck am I controlling and possessive of that for? That's your fucking ex-boyfriend. If you want to text that guy, that's fine with me. Just understand what the consequences are. Now, you say it, but don't show it. But you guys have to watch out for your girlfriend's friends trying to shame you. All she's trying to do is give herself the space with which to cheat on you. Girls cheat in the margins. They don't cheat when it's obvious.
You know, I've heard for 30 years, you're such an asshole. Everyone says you're such an asshole. And I'm like, absolutely.
You're such a guy. I was just going to, just real quick before we move on, I was going to say, I want to be with a woman that has 100% unquestionable desire for me. Okay. I want a woman that is so hot and so dedicated to me. She's going to change her fucking religion, leave her country, and leave her family to come live with me, because that is how interested she is in me. That woman is not going to be one who has a problem with going out on girls' night out. Okay. That's not the one who's going to say you're possessive, because she is that much into you. Everybody knows this about me. You cannot negotiate genuine desire. And part of being territorial is you trying to negotiate her actual desire, because really what you want is you want her to naturally want to be with you, to naturally have that interest level with you. But there's something about her still where she wants to go out and she wants to be available. Medium is the message. You want a chick who's the hell yeah girl. You want her who's a, hey, you want to go out with me? Hell yeah. You want to go do this? You want to go to Applebee's? Hell yeah. You want to go to, Bible study? Hell yeah. It just does not matter what the hell it is. It's that you want that 100% natural, unmitigated desire.
Well, I'll say this too. I agree with Rolo, but watch out for BPDs and disordered women who behave very much like that, if not almost identical. It's one hair off. And the hair, of course, is the illness itself.
What do you got? I was going to say, moving on.
Let's move on to the text question. I actually know the guy who sent this in. His name's Daniel. Daniel here. Should young boys still look to superheroes today for inspiration when it comes to being a man or handling women? I'm going to hit that. I have some thoughts on that. Nothing too fancy.
How young?
He doesn't specify. He's probably talking about teenagers or something like that. I mean, I'll say this. It depends really on the superhero in a way. Like Iron Man is a good example. Tony Stark in Iron Man 1 is like alpha badass bad boy. But as the movie series progresses, I think the writers changed him from Iron Man 1 to 2 to 3 and then into the
and he fucking marries. Oh my God.
Yeah, he's trying to knock up Pepper Potts, and Pepper Potts is
what
like
are you doing?
45 or something. Like it's in the newest Avengers, it's retarded.
I think you have to understand that superheroes are archetypes. So you got a guy who's like Tony Stark, who's this bad boy playboy guy, and then you got a guy like Captain America. Captain America is the archetype of and Spider-Man is also this archetype. It's the kid, the wimpy little kid who is completely powerless and has nothing, and then suddenly he's got extraordinary powers and extraordinary responsibilities, right? Yep. And that is the archetype of you're a nice guy. What would you do if tomorrow you woke up and you were alpha and you had all this control over people and you didn't have to worry about getting bullied or your ass kicked? Would that turn you into a bully, or would you be a superhero and use your superpowers for good? That's the archetype. And these are all old school male archetypes. Even like Luke Skywalker is an old school male archetype that is the hero's journey, I think is what he would represent.
Yeah.
A lot of these narratives are now being corrupted deliberately, I should say, when it comes to like the SJW agendas, but also because women don't want those archetypes to be manifested in the next generation of kids right now. So I mean, what do we do with our boys right now? We drug them. We tell them to be, to be more like girls. We treat them as if they are defective girls. And part of that training is now corrupting those old school archetypes. So if you got a good guy, a traditional good guy like Captain America, who, it's interesting because like his character was so naive and so boy-like, but yet he looks like a man, and he still has this dedication to an ideology that's already been dead for the American way, that kind of stuff. And it's interesting to see how they've changed that character both in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but also in the comic books as well. And I think that the state of comic books, I want to point this out real quick. There's this guy that I've been listening to for quite some time. Really good dude. His name is Jeremy. I don't know what his last name is, but he has a YouTube channel called The Quartering. And he talks about stuff like this all the time. It's mostly kind of nerd culture type stuff, gamer / comic books culture. But the dude is like completely red pill. And so I'm glad he's doing this, because I don't see any other dudes doing this really. But he'll go in and he'll
stuff on this.
Vox does too, but Vox is really a whole lot more like socio-political these days and ethnic and racial, whereas Jeremy from The Quartering, he does such a great job, because he goes and he exposes SJWs in gaming, the feminism that's like, just recently there was this controversy of this lesbian who just picked up she's an illustrator, she's a comic book artist, lesbian, who just redrew She-Ra, this new version of She-Ra, as like sort of like a 12-year-old boy, or this really kind of masculinized character, because that's what she wants to see. And of course, what do? We pile on and say, oh, this is the new She-Ra for this generation. And I think that really kind of speaks to this question, because this generation has become so corrupted right now, and we have so confused and blurred what traditional conventional masculinity is. So you go and you look at characters who were conventionally masculine back in like the 70s, the 80s, even the 60s really, and you take a character like I said, like Captain America or Spider-Man, who were traditionally appealing to young men, those characters, they have to be perverted, they have to be changed right now to sort of speak the narrative, because SJWs can't create anything for themselves. They have to take what has already been created, and they have to ride on the coattails and the popularity of that. Because if they were going to make their own superheroes, nobody would listen to them. Why? Because they're not based on archetypes. They're not based on anything that guys really understand as the heroic kind of. They don't identify with that and say, yeah, I would really like to be Spider-Man, or Spider-Man's just like me because I'm a 14-year-old kid, and this is what I would do if I had superpowers. And so I think looking up to superheroes today, until it changes back to more conventionally masculine superhero characters. If you can find one, please throw it at me. But a really good guy to talk about, or to talk this over with, would be Jeremy from The Quartering. I'd really like to get him on this show sometime.
I think one of the things that we're missing over the years have gone by is that my dad was my freaking superhero. He was alpha as hell. He was a cop. He was just amazing, amazing man, right? And I don't think there's enough fathers out there that are being amazing men in their own sons' lives. And I keep getting back to that everywhere I look. So yeah, they're going to look at superheroes as entertainment when their dad is stepping up and being the man of the household. That's my take.
One of our old speakers used to call it father hunger, which we see in Jordan Peterson stuff, but also I think the superhero stuff. Yeah, it's out of control.
Okay, yeah, we've actually got a few callers on the line. We got somebody from Estonia and Guatemala here on the line. Before I bring on Mr. Estonia here, got a couple of guys here that said, oh, Donovan forced his girl to do this. No, Donovan didn't force. Listen, I didn't force anybody to do anything. I may be forceful, okay, but I didn't force anybody to do anything. Dude, my girlfriend looks good enough. She could have been like, you know what, fuck this noise. I'm not putting up with this knucklehead. Women allow themselves to be trained. You don't hold a gun to a girl's head. You're not fighting her to do stuff. If she doesn't want to do it, she's not going to do it. Devin happens to be very good for my personality. She admires my forcefulness. So I don't have her locked up in a fucking basement somewhere. Get the fuck out of here.
She allows it, but she really wants it.
Listen, girls want structure, and because I'm louder and more animated, I've got a temper problem. Some guys may disingenuously think that I went and no, I didn't go out and kidnap Devin. And yes, she did it because she wanted to. At the end of the day, girls are going to do what the fuck they want to do.
You know why they think that is because they are trapped in this idea that women should. in this egalitarian equalist mindset is why they're saying this, because if they can't conceive the fact that a woman might actually organically choose to be with a guy who is in control and is dominant, and is masculine dominance, because they think that women are basically the equals of men. That they're not the complement, they're the equals of men. That's why they think this. So that's why it's insulting to them, and they get fearful, like, oh, he must be an abuser. Well, no, she chooses that. She wants to be involved in that.
Report his Amazon book immediately.
There you go.
Yeah.
914-205-5356 is the number to call. If you are outside the US, just add the number 1. I don't remember what your name was, but we got a guy from Estonia on the line. Estonia, you are on live with the Rain Man Group. Go ahead.
Hello, guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Very good. I'm Christian from Estonia, as I said, and I just wanted to say that I just recently discovered the Red Pill, and just last week I bought and just received the 3 books from Rollo Tomassi, so thank you for that. And I'm currently 22 years old, and I have listened to your podcasts for like a few weeks from the past, and last week I heard you were talking about like some tests and trials and tribulations that young guys usually go through in that type of period in their lives. And I have not like a question, but just like more of a comment to last week's podcasts. In my country, we have this kind of system that every guy who is at least 18 years old or slightly older, they have to go to, obligatory military training for 9 or 12 months. And I know that in United States, it is not, obligatory in that sense that you can go there, but you don't have to.
Right.
So I just got this one idea that I see in very recent years, very lot that has happened. I see a lot of guys go through this military training for almost a year. And what I see happening is that there's 2 types of guys, basically. There are those guys who, before to go to the military training, they have this really, bad lifestyle. They're, lazy and doing bad at school and come from a, not so good family and all. And after the military training, their lifestyle goes back into the same way it was previously.
Wow.
And they haven't made absolutely any improvements. On the other hand, there are those types of guys who, they go through their military training, they do extremely well, they come out of it, and after that, they have, made this very huge improvement in their lives, and they're like completely new person. And what I have noticed is that those guys who come out as, successful dudes, they happen to usually come from a family which has this, really strong masculine figure in it, like a strong father or uncle or whoever,
Right. And
those guys who do not have this kind of successful outcome after this military training and go back to this, lazy lifestyle, they usually come from, as you have previously talked about in your series, from this single mother type of family where there is no masculine figures and nothing like that. And my question or like a comment is that, in my opinion, it is more important to have like a strong male figure and a strong family from the start of every guy's life, instead of just having this some kind of tests and trials and tribulations later on in life. Because when a guy is growing up, he's so taking in everything from the world, and if he's not getting this strong male figure in his life, later on, it doesn't matter where does he get it from, because it's too late, in my opinion. So that was just what I wanted to say. And
excellent.
It was just my comment to your last
absolutely. Thanks for the call. Thanks for the call. And listen, he points out, what he is pointing out is what is on full display right here in America, particularly in the black community. Let's keep it real. Most niggas running around out here have been raised by single mothers. Single mothers created the hood. There's a guy by the name of Rom Wills. He wrote an article on NegroMetasphere.com. Black women complain about the men they create, and it's 100% true, dude. It got so much hate. DL Hughley talked about it on his show. But to bring this to a macro point, He's 100% right, the guy in Estonia. If there is no masculine figure in a man's life, he has little to no chance to achieve true masculinity.
Yeah, he nailed it. He absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, I was going to say is that you see when you hear calls like that, and you look at other countries where where military service is mandatory, and you look at all this stuff, you just really see the contrast between how we live here in the United States and how they live out there. But I was going to say is that you can, in that contrast, you can see just how the attacking of traditional masculinity or conventional masculinity is going on right now. It's like, what do? We just got into all of these Twitter wars about, I think it was Jessica Valenti and Jordan Peterson were going at it over how we need to teach boys to be proper feminists, how we need to teach boys to be more emotional. It's basically because they're still clinging to this old school idea that boys in school are being taught to be these complete, patriarchal, masochistic, chauvinistic pigs. And if we don't do something about it, then, but the problem is that it completely ignores the fact that for the last 40 or 45 years, we've been teaching boys as if they're defective girls. And I can show you study after study after study why that is true, and how we're drugging these kids, and how we're, attacking traditional conventional masculinity in the home. So what are they trying to do? They're trying to remove men, from everything, but certainly from the home. And what happens when you remove the man from the home? You get a situation like the guy in Estonia was talking about.
Well, I think it might have been Ryan Stone who pointed it out. I'm not sure, but somebody on Twitter pointed out that the woman who wrote that article doesn't even realize that she is the one, and women like her are pushing men to the red pill and to the manosphere.
Yes,
because feminism is sick. It's a deranged,
it's a mental disorder.
Philosophy. Yeah, it's mental. Yeah, it's cancer. So it's totally lost on her though that she's the one driving more and more and more teenagers and young men to the red pill and to the manosphere.
And
it's not us, it's them.
The conversation is almost like pointless to have with somebody like Jessica Valenti, because obviously she's been involved in this for forever. But I think that it's interesting. Like I took to task that comedian Michael Ian Black, who, by the way, is that dude is also being accused of pedophilia or pederasty.
You know what? That might actually be accurate because he looks like a pedophile.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that guy came out, I think it was after the Florida shooting with Nicholas Cruz. He was like saying the same thing that she is. It was like, oh, we need to teach our boys to be more sweet and emotional and expressive. And I was like, no, that is exactly why they're doing that. This was an emotional outburst for that kid. Why? Because there's no man in there teaching him masculine discipline. There's no one in school, no men in school. There's no man at home. There's no one. And even if they're there, that, is it a positive masculine role? Probably not.
I mean, the blue pill, when it's successfully played out on a young guy like that, a young man, he's basically getting sucked into, in my opinion, a negative feedback loop that then results in an emotional outburst. And Carl talks about that on his blog, Black Label Logic. Yeah, it's sick. Like, you're being fed lies. Those are then being doubled down on because you're told that's what's right, and then it doesn't work, and then you keep doing it anyway. And then you get fucking pissed off, and some kids get more pissed off than most. Or they have something else co-occurring at the same time. It's sick.
Yeah, the feminism, I mean, feminism's a lot of things, but if we just boil it down, if we just simplify it, it's one giant shit test. Well, we know most men can't really pass a shit test. So those who take the red pill are the ones that pass the feminism shit test, which is why most men can't take the red pill. 914-205-5356 is the number to call. Daniel in California, you're on Live with the Red Man Group.
Hello.
Hey, what's up, brother? What's your question?
Hey, this is Daniel Lynn again. Sorry if I appear selfish by asking two questions, because
I can't believe it.
Anthony answered my first question already.
That's fine. Go ahead.
My second question would be, I go to college in the southern states, and I noticed that the most beautiful women would always pair up or get with these tall guys that have like long beards, but they seem overweight. They have big trucks, and there's not much that they can do besides like out drinking other people. And I thought that women are attracted to muscular men. So I'm trying to figure out why these beautiful women go with that.
Listen, what you're describing is the same thing, and I'm not accusing you of this, but a lot of women they take the lazy route by saying, well, I'm not a perfect 10, so I may as well be a slut because I'm never going to marry a high value guy. Well, there are a lot of guys out there who think that all you have to be is tall and good looking and you'll get good. No, girls are definitely attracted to tall, good looking guys, but they're more attracted to masculinity. These big fat guys with beards and big pickup trucks that are out drinking people, guess what that is? That's masculinity. That is borderline toxic masculinity. So girls are attracted to guys that look good, but they're more attracted to guys who just don't give a fuck. Guys who are unapologetically and unabashedly masculine. Yeah, I've got long hair, I've got a beer gut, and I drive a fucking, I'm a redneck and I drive a big fucking truck and I can drink anybody under the table. Go fuck yourself. Girls will love those guys.
And the reason is
about me now, man. Damn it, shut up.
There you go.
So like what Donovan's saying is those girls know that those guys don't give a fuck, to the point that they will pull that girl behind the bar, they'll put him in the back of their pickup truck, and they will fuck the shit out of them.
Hell yeah.
So she knows that, and she intuitively or instinctively she knows that, like Rolo will talk about.
It's all congruency is what it is. As you can have a guy who's like really super good looking, but if he acts effeminate and he acts gay, what that's an incongruency from what a woman naturally believes the guy's going to be about. So if you got a guy who's like one of these kind of supermodel dudes who should be in like the hot fireman calendar or something like that, and he talked like this, and he has, he's very fey or whatever like that, that's an incongruency. Now that's an easy one to figure out. Okay. But when you've got a guy, I can remember this one time. There was this chick when I think I would have been about 19 or 20. Her name was Kathy, and I really, really wanted to nail this chick. And I could not understand why she kept going back to her boyfriend all the time. And the boyfriend was like this fry cook, overweight, come home in like a greasy wife beater or whatever. And she would give this dude anal sex.
Yes.
She loved the dude. I mean, she could not. And I am trying to game her and everything. And of course I'm 19, 20 years old. I got no clue. I had no idea that what I was presenting was not what she was after. It was this guy who would grab her hair when they're having sex. And that's what she wanted. But me, I would never have dreamed, oh no, baby, I love you. I'll keep you happy. I would never try to pull your hair. That's what she wants. He wants you to pull her fucking hair.
I'll tell you what, the boys down here, you see the rednecks down here where I live, and they got the freaking fishing hook in their cap and all that. Guess what? They're going to tell that girl, I'm going fishing with my buddy in the morning. Fuck off. I'll see you maybe Saturday night. Maybe I won't. Maybe we'll stay fishing all day. And that's the attitude. You tell them no.
Yep. And then guess what she says? Oh my God, I want to have your babies. That's what happens every time, man. Because here's the thing, man. Because girls want guys who can do without them. You have to have that attitude. Listen, sweetheart, this train is leaving the station with or without you. You can either be on it or off it. But come 7 o'clock, whatever, I'm pulling the fuck up out of here. Now it's on you. That's the attitude you have to have with women. Never make women the focal point of yourself. Fuck.
I've said this before. I told my girl one time a couple of years ago, we were trying to get through our shit. I said, look, I'll be okay without you. And that was and you know what? And she does, and you know what? She'll be okay without me too, I think. It's okay. But the thing is that I gained my freedom back that day. I mean, I lost my freedom for a while,
You think she'll be all right, but she don't think that. I think women. I don't know. I'm just.
I'm giving her more credit probably than she deserves.
Well, you probably have a better observation of. You have a better third person perspective than she does. She doesn't know that. But women, I find women usually don't think like that.
914-205-5356. Andre in Guatemala. You are on live with the Red Band Group. Go ahead.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Doing good, man.
Good.
That's awesome. First of all, I just want to say thanks for all your content and all the truth you've been putting out. I think it's helping a lot of guys like me. I'm 23. I'm from Guatemala. I moved to the States 3 years ago. And when I moved to the States, I met this girl that ever since then she was pursuing me. She's always thought of me as amazing, and she's the one chasing me this whole time. And then about 2 months ago, I decided to try out a relationship with her. She's 2 years older than I am. I'm 23. And, I think she's really, really attractive. But right now, we're 2 months into the relationship, even though we've had this friendship for a long time. And now she's asking me to try out therapy.
For what?
Counseling.
Oh,
yeah, hell no.
Run.
Oh man.
Sean Smith when you need him.
I know, instinctively I know what you guys think, but I just wanted to get more, like a more expansive response.
Why is she asking you this? What is the reason she's giving that she says that you need to have therapy with her?
I wish a bitch.
Because we are both. Because the reason is because I'm Christian, so I don't come from the Christian background, and I think you all know that you basically taught one-itis as the best value to be as a man and woman. So because of that, now that we're in a relationship and we are thinking about it in serious terms, she thinks this is like the best step for the next of our relationship.
Oh my God, the next step. Jesus fucking Christ.
Oh God, bro.
Are you guys having sex?
Yep.
Oh,
whenever you want, or how often?
Yeah, I was gonna say what are the stipulations here for sex? Like, is she having it with you because she wants to, or are you having to negotiate this?
No, I definitely don't have to. She is mostly the one that initiates it.
Okay, all right. Well, that's
wow.
She's 26 now. Has she stopped having sex with you since she asked you to go to counseling?
But I'm the one that is telling her to stop having sex.
Oh,
why? Why did you tell? Why did you tell her that though?
Because of my Christian beliefs and my background. Like I've felt because of how all the conditioning that I've had, that it messes with me. Like I can't think. I feel like I can't think straight.
You're gonna love book 4, my friend. You're gonna love book 4.
This is funny. No, this is funny. From what I'm gathering here, and I could be wrong, and correct me if I am. It sounds like the girl wants him to go to counseling to get the religion out of him so that he can start acting more like a man. Is that what this is?
I'm not sure. I mean, she
is it a religious counselor?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Definitely don't do it. So you're religious and she's religious, correct?
Yes, right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, she's older than you too, man. That's really not a good setup.
Yeah, that would be a next right there anyways, but I'm curious because I think just sort of for educational purposes and for people listening to this, I mean, my advice is going to be next this girl and move on, but really I think that you need to understand where you sit with your own convictions. I mean, if you had sex with her and then you're going to go and say, well, hey, I think we should stop having sex because I have these religious convictions. Well, you're sort of like living sort of two lives there. You're living that duplicitous life. And I'm not saying that you can't be Christian. You can't be sort of, in control of your own sex life. But I think that you need to come to terms with that before you start getting into it with another woman. In the 4th book that I'm working on right now, it really deals with a lot of the almost exactly the same kind of concept. A lot of the guys, particularly, and I don't know if you're an evangelical or if you're a Catholic or whatever, but in really more mainstream Christianity has been so infiltrated by feminism and the feminine imperative, and it's really kind of found fertile grounds in these churches because it can condition men to be these perfect beta providers while making women the primary focus. And I think that would be step one. I really think that churches these days, mainstream churches these days, are teaching men to basically be these perfect servile betas. But I think really what you need to do is you need to sort of come to terms with what it is that you're going to live by. I mean, you've already been having sex with her and then you decided not to have sex with her. Is that what I'm getting?
It's a beta move, man. Like, you can't do that.
Well, I mean,
but she hates the lack of validation from that.
Because I think what she's seeing, I mean, I'm a little confused. Did she was the one who said you need to go to counseling, or did you say she needs to go to counseling?
No, well, basically we just ran, I think because of the sex and me saying that we should stop having sex. She's on board with whatever I tell her, but
she won't be for long, dude.
Yeah.
Listen, it's not gonna
more problems, and then
No, listen, check this out. This isn't about religion, okay? David Koresh and Jim Jones, they got as much ass as Jimmy Swaggart and every other televangelist. It doesn't matter. Girls are not inherently religious. Girls will follow the strongest men. If you are an atheist and you are steadfast in your convictions, guess what? A girl will fuck that atheist 10 times better and 10 times harder than a guy who might think he's a Christian and who's on fire for God. It's not, but then she'll turn around and she'll fuck the preacher or the deacon. Listen, a girl's religion is whatever the strongest man's religion is. Yeah. This has nothing to do with religion. If you have stopped having sex with your girlfriend because of your religion, dude, it is only a matter of time before she cheats on you. And here's what's going to happen before then. What's going to happen now is she's going to say, you know what? Either you go to counseling with me, or we're going to stop having sex. Well, you've already taken it off the table. We're not having sex anyway. So then she's going to say, you either come to counseling with me or I'm going to leave. The only answer, the only way for you to get out of this is start fucking your girlfriend again. That's the only way you're getting out of this, man.
Well, fair point, Donovan, but I want to say this per what Rolo's talked about in his work and the Red Pill more broadly too. Why, independent of his religion, why is he dating? Why is he in a relationship, a committed relationship of any sort at 20? What is he, 23?
Yeah. That's the next question. He's like, you don't need to be monogamous. Yeah, you don't need to be monogamous at 23. You shouldn't even be thinking about monogamy until you get to be about 30.
But that's how he's been raised, because I was the same fucking thing.
I completely understand. The other thing, I'm just going to take, just want to put a asterisk next to what you were saying about women being religious. I think women are actually a lot more superstitious than most guys. Yeah. And that's why chick crack works. Okay. I think that if you have a little bit of that woo-woo magic to you, that might not be a bad thing. And I think that actually women are probably more religious than men are. However, that religion can be hypergamy trumps religion. Put it that way.
Boom. That's all, man.
Yeah. So if you're the right guy, it doesn't matter if she was raised, as an evangelical Christian. She's still going to have sex with the hot guy in the foam cannon party on spring break in Cancun. Okay. So I tell guys this all the time. Right. The t-shirt launch. Well, I was just going to say is that I think that women are far more, they think that they are more attuned to the supernatural than men are. And I'm not gonna. I could probably do an entire show about that. Just
a
lot
of things.
But I will always say this: is that hypergamy will always trump convictions. So.
This is why I made the parallel between your Jim Jones and your David Koreshes and your Jerry Falwell or whoever your evangelicals. It doesn't matter as long as you're a strong male and you exude masculinity. They couldn't give two shits what your religion is. And if you get a Catholic girl and she wants to fuck an atheist, all of a sudden now she's going to start to hamster why she doesn't think there's a God. You don't think there's a God because the atheist has a 10-inch dick. He pulls your hair during sex and he tells you what to do. Thanks for the phone call, Andre in Guatemala. Anybody else want to add to that before we get to the next caller?
Good.
If you're not almost 30, don't be in a relationship. You don't understand women well enough.
I will say this much: at some point, every man figures out the difference between religion and spirituality. And once you figure that shit out, all of a sudden, religion ain't such a big fucking deal anymore. Even if you were raised in it like I was.
Real talk being dropped by the Texas Dom. I like that. Area code 610. You are on live with the Red Man Group. What is your question?
Well, I just wanted to sort of follow up with that bit with the religion stuff. I just buried a buddy of mine that literally he was a member of a pretty tradcon evangelical kind of church, and he basically was not providing in the way that the woman thought he should be providing. They were always, actually had the basic needs provided, but, and so she brought to bear the whole church's feminine imperative with the board of elders and everything, and had everybody harass this guy up until the point that literally he dropped dead of a massive heart attack a week ago.
Damn.
So, this is like this feminine imperative, within these evangelical churches it will brook absolutely no limits, and it's like doesn't matter what it has to sacrifice, it will carry it out, you know, it doesn't matter who it kills, as long as like that feminine imperative it keeps on going.
That's exactly what I'm writing about in book 4 right now. Well, you know, I could probably do an entire show just dedicated to the religion and red pill. I mean, I am writing the 4th book about that. I would just love to get Dalrock on this show if I could get him on, even if he just came on with just an icon instead.
Dalrock's a genius, by the way.
I would love to have him on. I have quoted him in every single book I've ever written. But it's true. It's this, I'm writing an entire book about this, and not just about Christianity, also in Islam, in Judaism, in Hinduism, in you name the religion, and I will show you some way that the feminine imperative is assimilating your mainstream religion right now. It just happens that evangelical Christianity is the easiest one for women to take control of right now. If you look at women's ministries right now, like Beth Moore, she's very much involved with the Me Too movement. And
women's ministry?
Yes. She will probably end up being the first woman to have her own, like, to be a televangelist. I mean, there's Beth Moore, and then there's, I can't remember the other broad's name, but there's actually a huge, you know, you were just talking about this success porn. This is success porn for Christian women. That is what they're selling right now. They're selling this this idea that you can be like, they want to completely pretty much rewrite the religion to accommodate feminism, but they don't see it as feminism. They don't call themselves feminists. They would be horrified if you were to call them feminists, but they still all have the same exact beliefs. They're feminists, but they're just changed the name to, you know, evangelical women's ministry, you know, person or whatever. But it goes back to that same success porn things. They're selling it to these women who want to still pretend that they're Christians, but they want all the benefits of feminism on top of that.
So there was a time we moved out to the country. Our girl was out of town, and I went to a new church out here. You know, Methodist, pretty conservative and all that. Female pastor. I'm like, oh fuck. As soon as I got in there, right? Now what? And then,
he already knew.
Oh yeah, it's like, okay, here we go. And I'm by myself, right? And so during her sermon, she talks about at some point men being another child in the household. She goes, "You girls know what I mean, right?" And I just looked at this and I went, "Holy
God, oh my God, man!"
Hand to God, I got up and I walked out of the church when she said that, and my boots are clicking on the wooden floors. I'm walking out, and I'm just like, "Fuck this! I am out of here." So my girl gets home. She goes, "Hey, how'd you like that new church?" And I'm like, "Well, we're never going back. I'll stay as far away as possible."
And it's funny because this has been normalized. We see, you'd even see it on commercials now. And listen, I'm not breaking news here, but you look at television commercials, movies, TV shows, men are consistently painted as these inept. We're portrayed as these idiots who can't do anything without women. So when she talks about, yeah, you know what I mean, right, ladies? No, actually, they think they know what you mean because they watch a lot of TV.
What also reminds me of what you said earlier, Donovan, that in the black community, single mothers, they hate the men they create. They're at war with the men they create. They create these betas and then they hate them. Yeah, it sucks. It's fucked up.
Yeah, and they're really mad. They're all over Michael B. Jordan now because Michael B. Jordan he hasn't made it a point to say he doesn't date black women, but, and I don't want to get off topic here, but every time he's out somewhere, they're making it a big point that he's not dating black women. So all these
women, I have black friends telling me not to bang black girls. He's like, dude, they're gonna try to get pregnant with you immediately.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, dude. Listen, most black women are born pregnant, man. Like, dude, you look at a black. I swear to God, you look at a black woman, you can't. I swear to God, man, black women are the most fucking fertile bitches out there. You can fuck the bitch with 8 fucking condoms. Her vagina figures out a way to somehow suck the sperm from the 8 condoms you have. God. That's why you got all these women out here with like 8 kids by like 17 different niggas, man, because they are fertile as fuck. You go out on a date. Listen, you go out on a date with a black, and I'm not even kidding. You go out on a date with a black woman, right? One date, if you guys drink out of the same glass, bro, I'm trying to tell you, she's going to be pissing a plus sign. They do that fraternity test. That's your kid. Maury Povich will tell you, you are the father. But I didn't even fuck her. Bruh, she was born pregnant. All you did was come in contact with her, man. I'm trying to tell you guys out here.
I got into a debate with some black women this week over a video of this guy who I guess he took his girlfriend, his black dude, black couple, black friends, and he had taken his girlfriend out to Applebee's or someplace, and she was upset that it was her birthday And did you see that video?
I saw the video.
And so I got all, so she just got all up in this guy's grill and jumped up on the chair and started getting in his face. And, and it's just like, I looked at this and I go, this is exactly why black men are leaving the country to go to Brazil, to find women that are more, and it reminded me of this post, and actually I'll share it with you later, Donovan. You probably would like it. I wrote it about this documentary that they had done, a very, very intelligent black men talking about the problems in the black community when it comes to men and women right now, and how he and a lot of his friends are leaving the country to go take trips down to Brazil. Some are expatriating. They're going down there because they can find women that they're attracted to, that are black women down there, and who treat them right, treat them like feminine, they're feminine women, and they're going down there looking for that. I posted that on that thread, and I just caught so much shit from every black woman on there. Like, these guys, they can go do whatever the hell they want. They're not real women down there.
Listen, here's my favorite one. Fuck y'all niggas. I'm gonna go get me a white boy. Oh, for real? Like white dudes are checking for y'all for real, because two white women on TV got married to two black women on TV got married to a white man in a movie. Now all of a sudden white dudes are checking for you. And it's funny, man. Black women all the time tell us, well, we're jumping ship. Sweetheart, what ship are y'all jumping to? Like, dude, listen, I'm telling you right now, the American black woman is at the bottom of the sexual totem pole, and they fucking know it. That's why guys like Michael B. Jordan are catching heat. He had all these black women in here. Oh, we're gonna boycott the Black Panther. Y'all ain't shit. The Black Panther was one of the highest grossing movies of the year. Get the fuck out of here. And black women always talk about the fact that they don't care. Well, we don't care. Y'all do who you want to date. Really? Why are y'all all in my mentions? Why you know what I'm saying? Like, why is my name in your mouth? It's fucking hilarious, man. They can go fuck themselves because ain't nobody else will.
We got one more call? I think we have time for one.
Phone lines are actually empty now. I'm still waiting on trolls to call us, right?
Yeah, I put it out there too. I put it on my Twitter. I said, you are all invited to call in, and nobody calls in. Nobody wants to, that's what I hate. It's like these sons of bitches that come out there and go, like, Pat Stedman wrote this fucking blog post about me. Like, I think it was back, of course, he writes a blog post about me like 3 times a year. But, giving me shit, like, here, the invitation is open. Go right ahead. Call in. You want to talk shit? You want to tell me what the problem is that you have with me? Go right ahead. Here's your opportunity. You know what? I've got open. I've had an unmoderated comment section on the Rational Mail for 7 years. I've never seen your face there.
I tell you what, one thing I really hate is men within the manosphere taking shots at each other. It just fucking pisses me off, man. Fucking pisses me off. The world is taking shots at all of us.
Right.
Every damn chance they get. Shut the fuck up or take it private.
I agree. I totally agree. I've actually got a question here for Rolo. This was actually in the chat a while back. It was from Dead Robbins Frank. It says, question for Rolo: does being a red pill dad have a positive effect on your daughter? In other words, less games down the road. What do you think about that?
Oh, definitely. Okay. I've said this a million times. It's like, I think that because I have interpreted or internalized red pill awareness, it manifests itself in ways that I'm not really even aware of. So I've always been about demonstrate, do not explicate. And I think even Hunter would probably back me up on this as well. It's like when you're raising kids, they watch what you do. They don't listen to what you say. So you need to, if you're a red pill guy, they like my daughter is 20 years old right now, and she will say stuff like, I can't believe the relationship that you have with mom. You guys are so, because all of her friends' mothers and parents are all divorced, or they hate each other, or there's something, or they're raised by single mothers, that kind of stuff. Her parents are still together 22 years later. And she's just finishing up her sophomore year at UNR up here, and she is she's seeing all the stuff that all the village is being taught to her right now, particularly in terms of the SJWs and all this, her teachers and everything else. And she's I would say definitely the red pill has had a very much positive impact on her, to the point where, like, the guys that I see her sort of opting for, like her boyfriend is very much like me, very much, I would say lesser alpha, has the same kind of hobbies that I'm into, same kind of attitude, same kind of outlook towards life. And I don't think that that's a coincidence, put it that way.
This is going to help her fight the college indoctrination by the NCAA. That's it, right? They're all trying to indoctrinate.
And it's funny is like people always say, well, you can't have a red pill marriage. You've got to have some compromises. No, you don't. And you know what? You can live that. And guess what? You can have a great, wonderful, successful red pill marriage. And you know what? You can have red pill kids too. That's why I wrote book 3. Was so that, guys who are asking me all these questions about like, when's the best time to introduce my sons to the red pill? Well, you can find that answer in that book. But I also had this entire chapter in that book, which is not available anywhere else, on how to raise a daughter.
All right, with that said, let's start wrapping up, gentlemen. Appreciate your time today. A few quick announcements. We recently released the Ivan Throne speech from 21Con 2017. It's up on YouTube, out for free to the world. You can go to youtube.com/21/21, pull that right up recently, or type on YouTube, Ivan Throne 21 Convention. It's a full-length speech. It's about an hour, and it's very badass, picking up a lot of views. Also, there is a new Redman Group YouTube channel we're getting going. I will put the link in the video description after this live stream ends. You can check that out, subscribe. We need subscribers, too, to get live streaming going on it in different YouTube features, so make sure you subscribe to the new Redman Group channel. Finally, tickets to 21Con 2018 in Orlando, Florida, this October 11th to the 14th are almost sold out. We have 37 left as of this morning, and that's assuming more didn't sell during the show, which they may have. I don't know, but I'll find out soon. 37 tickets left, and your last chance to save $400 on your ticket is July 31st, so a couple days from now. To get tickets, look in the description for this video, or go to the21convention.org. That's .org, not .com. And you can also go to the speakers' websites, such as Roland Tomasi, Donovan Sharp, and literally like 20 other guys that are fucking awesome. Robert Glover, Ryan Stone, Jack Donovan, Goldman Unleashed, Tanner Guzzi, on and on down the line. It's an epic lineup, and it's an epic event. It is my life's work, and it's fucking awesome. All these guys have been there, know it. Well, Rollo. With that said, let's wrap up the show.
Rollo, you can see in the chat there. This is a question, and I don't know if you've addressed this directly, Rollo, but I think at some point maybe write a pamphlet or a booklet on guys who have daughters, because that's the pervasive question. I discovered the red pill. I've got 3 daughters, and the answer is now, what the fuck? Like, how do I do it? I think a lot of guys would.
I could basically turn that chapter into a blog post.
You should. There you go.
I'll take that under consideration. But yeah, I understand. I get that question a lot, especially when it comes to raising kids. Like, people have their sons, and I think that's probably a little bit easier because you have some sort of frame of reference. And it took me, it was a very interesting experience for Rollo Tomasi to have raised a daughter from infancy to 20 years old.
Dude.
So, and then of course, imagine you're the boyfriend who's dating Rollo Tomasi's daughter.
I tell you what, I know how not to raise a stepdaughter, so I can tell you what, I was not red pill when I needed to be, and I can see the results now, and it's tragic. So you men out there that are worried about that, get your shit together, live your life the right way, set the example for that little girl, and you'll be good to go. And my last comment today would be, I'm not shilling for 21 in Orlando. I paid my money to go to this thing, just like everyone else that's on that list. Don't live with regrets in life. And I've learned this over the years. There's been things that I've not done because, it's going to cost an extra couple $100. I really don't want to spend that, or I really don't want to do this. I tell you what, after watching all the tweets and all the comments last year, after I was like, I fucked up. I should have been there. I should have made some things happen at work, changed some things around. Don't live with regrets. This is going to be a great week. And I think people are going to walk out of there with their lives changed. Now, some of us may just be walking out with a hangover and having a great freaking time all week. I don't know where you're going to lay on that scale, but don't miss this. I mean, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a blast.
And I'll just leave you guys with this too. I need to ask Anthony this question. Anthony, did you say something about how we had an extra room that was attached to all this? I mean, we got the main room, and then we got we have a side room or something?
Yeah, the champagne room, I think you called it.
Yeah. Going on in that room. Yeah, I was going to say that just to also clarify on that is like, it's not just about sitting there and watching speakers for, 4 days straight, which in and of itself will be great because they're great speakers. But there's so much more going on outside of the convention, in the hotels. I mean, like I said, I gave 2 1-hour speeches at last year's convention, and yet I think I probably talked for a good 16 or 20 hours with guys just walking through the hotel or at night, having drinks or at dinner or whatever else, and people just stopping you to pick your brain. And it's not just me this time. I mean, you got access to guys like Ed Lattimore, like Donovan here, like Ivan. We got Dr. Sean Smith. Rich is going to be. I mean, there's, if you just go to the site and look at the lineup.
If you guys are anybody out there that's wondering about dominant, submission, master, slave, BDSM, flogging, rope tying, all that shit, hit me up. I love talking about that shit. I can spend hours talking this shit.
Yeah, at some point, Tex will probably be a speaker. If not this year, the next or something. I'll probably have 2 events next year.
Listen, man, I'm trying to tell you, there's guys out there who are into that, man.
Oh, fuck yeah. Dude, Tex is the man. And Donovan, too, with a stamp. I'm going to get that stamp.
Yeah, I got to get a stamp, man. I got to have a stamp.
Hashtag Donovan's property. And for those of you out there who want the type of woman who will allow you to stamp their name on her ass, DonovanSharp.com. TSR prime time, Monday through Thursday evenings, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Yeah, for all the viewers, actually, check out the description for this video, and you'll find not just a link to tickets, but also all the speakers in the show and all the good stuff like that, the Redman Group channel. So everybody has Twitters and stuff like that we'll put in there.
A lot of cool stuff.
Hell yeah. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. The live stream, we could stay on the call privately. Everyone else, thanks for tuning in. Tune in next week. It should be on 21 Studios. Otherwise, you can always check Entrepreneurs and Cars as well. Adios.